Had a lot happen these last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a week, anyways. Even just this last week alone, but yours was pretty eventful as well, obviously. So where we left off, you were in the ruins at Cadogan. You're standing in front of the first living, well, technically Norok is standing in front of the first living Tegura in, well, undead, I suppose, in a few millennia. He's still grasping onto that massive stone phylactery. The one that you expect is, well, at least the Vabians expected, contains the scales of Sek, the Great Serpent of Autumn. He had just swung almost passively, almost dismissively swung a claw and decapitated the Vabian Erdeman, the necromancer that was beside him, that had been primarily responsible for raising him. And that's where we left off. So let me go ahead and move us over. I suppose I should ask everybody sitting there and ready to go. I know Ben, you just got in.
Yeah. No, it might take me a minute to get back into my accent. It's been a while. Unique New York. New York. All right, that's good enough.
Does that work when it's
not? That Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
I think you need a specific, special one if you're going to do a Scottish accent.
By Odin's beard.
I mean, that's not Scottish, but
just yell freedom really loud. Freedom.
That one, there you go. Although Melly Gibbs' accent in that was pretty tenuous at best. So, I mean, it was still, you still obviously, could tell it was what it was supposed to be. But anyway, so the sky is warming over the eastern mountains. It's beginning to illuminate this ruined area that you're all in. There's a glimmer off of the sunlight off of this gargantuan creature before you, Norok. Based on the snow sharks and the shovel tusks and so on, the things that your people hunt traditionally, you estimate this Tegura is probably 15,000 pounds thereabout, and he's got to be at least 18 feet, maybe 19 feet at the head, and he's just. So to give you a comparison there, the large African elephant is a little bit smaller than that, and he's quite a bit taller, just not as blocky, I guess you'd say. But he's covered in these protruding kind of petrified barbs, and he's got these very long, almost ape-like arms that are probably able to reach. If he was able to reach up, and I'm pointing this out for a specific reason that both Sarah and Arteme would probably recognize why, that if he was able to reach up, he could probably pretty comfortably reach about 25 feet. You guys are about 30 feet off of the coast where you're at right now, just the two of you specifically. But if he was able to lift up onto his back legs and balance, he could reach much higher. So literally we're talking like a 3-story building standing in front of Norok right now. Right now he's, closer to 2, but if he were to stand up. There's still water just kind of pouring off of him in streams. Off of this, these scales were just newly formed. This isn't the petrified shell that was there, because all that was there was bones. But the part of the ritual that the necromancers were performing kind of regrew a body for him, essentially. But he's still clutching this massive stone box. It's like a huge sarcophagus almost, and he's just holding it under one arm as if it weighs nothing. I need perception checks from.
Not me. I'm hiding in a corner way far away.
Yeah, both. And Nazim is pretty far, too, is the thing. Nazim, you can definitely see it from where you're at, but the detail that I'm specifically having you roll for may not be close enough for Nazim to pick up. So probably just Sarah and Arteme and Norok. And for simplicity's sake, and because it was... Remember, you guys came down here... you arrived right about 6 a.m. So the whole thing, the whole battle happened very quickly, but it is, beginning to get lighter, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the sun on.
Really good audio, by the way, with the waves and the birds. This is a good... meets this nicely.
Do you remember the detail about the moon? About Chorus and the song? The blue moon?
Hold on, I got it in my notes.
So Chorus, the blue moon, the largest of the moons, when it's full, when it's a full moon, has this almost Gregorian chant sounding sound coming off of it, and so when it's a full moon, which it is, during the day you can't hear it so well, but at night during a full moon, which it was or is, now it's obviously going into daytime, but anyways, I'm
going to assume that because of this thing that they were trying to do today, is there some would Pogo know that there's something special about this time that maybe separates a thin veil between planes or something for them to use this time to bring this creature back? Or would Pogo just Be like, moon's pretty. It's nice and things are. It's that crazy weird music again.
So I would say that you do know that there are types of magic that do rely on lunar cycles. You don't know how much necromancy is tied to those. But also where you're at right now, being surrounded by zombies, like you literally have a column of zombies and skeletons that are
There's
like
like
running
5,
in your
6
direction.
That was my second question. Are they doing anything different now that these other fuckers are dead? Or are they still just
you
assholes?
don't know what's happened other than hearing a loud splash of water to the southeast. So you wouldn't know that the Erdeman is dead. And beyond that, in fact, actually, your rocks can't communicate with you, right?
Nope.
They can't like. Yeah,
I
okay,
remember,
so you don't.
I don't have that up anymore. I dropped it, so they just crushed that fucker at the bottom of the water. And
Oh shit!
stay
Okay.
there.
Okay, well in that case then, I was going to say he's still alive
I
down there.
think he's
Technically.
still alive. He's
Yeah,
just
it's been about 30
trying to
seconds.
get a couple boulders off him.
Yes, so he probably won't survive much longer, but he is still alive at the moment. I thought you still had him animated, but yeah, he's still under the water there. So, all right, so that's where we left off though. The creature is standing directly in front of Norok, still like almost like Norok. You're being kind of splashed with water that is just dripping off of him as he's standing in front of you. What are you guys doing?
Are we still in order?
For now. Well, just for simplicity's sake, basically depending on what you guys choose to do, actions need to remain brief, and we'll go in and kind of a each person can do one type of thing, not necessarily a strict initiative unless somebody makes an attack or something.
Well,
But it is Norok now.
Yeah.
As far as initiative order, it is Norok.
Because mine's going to involve an attack and a spell, so I will wait.
Okay.
I'm actually just going to take my sword and point it down, and still hold it, but put the blade to the ground, the point to the ground, so he knows that I'm not, hostile. Especially since I'm in arm's reach, and he can just smash it. So.
Okay. Yeah, you did just see, the kind of flinging corpse of the Erdeman go flying backwards as the head plopped into the water beside him. It doesn't. You don't get the impression that you're much of a threat to him, even if you did have the sword up. At his size, he doesn't seem to be concerned about your hostility. But when you do kind of make a motion to point the sword down, he does kind of look down in your direction. With the perception checks, both Sarah and Norok, there's cold intelligence there for certain. It's just cold reptilian intelligence. This is clearly not just a mindless creature. This is a sentient being capable of thought and rationing and communication, probably. And for Sarah, you actually didn't quite meet it, but it's really close. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this clue, or partially, anyways.
You mean Artemis?
No. Oh shit! It was Artemis. Shit! I'm sorry, Fox.
Yep.
I just
She's got
assumed.
really good perception.
Yeah, perception. I have a huge bonus from like one of my features. So yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
I don't know why I thought she was going to say I have a huge boner for perception.
Ignore.
What?
Oh shit! You can't read that. Hang on. Let me change that out real quick, Fox. Uh oh. Why do I? Oh, because I have him selected. That's why.
Bonus.
There we go. I gotta repeat that to you, Fox, because I sent it in the wrong language. There you go. No, I literally I saw the two of them there, and I just naturally because Fox never rolls very high, I assumed it was Sarah. Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. But he kind of peers down in Norok's direction, and then looks back up and kind of starts to slowly turn, still holding this box, towards the waves.
I'm gonna cast Comprehend Languages and just... Can you understand me?
I don't think that works the way that you are thinking it works. Can you click it for me? I could be wrong. I think we get this. I get this wrong probably every time.
I'm pretty sure they can understand me.
That was the question. Yeah, I think I get that wrong every time. Let's see. So that's comprehension. It doesn't say anything about you being able to speak the other language.
Okay.
Because the Mephuans also spoke Vindian, you were able to use it there, if that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, I would,
okay.
Whatever language I can try to talk to him in, and even if he doesn't speak that.
Okay, so you're just going to shout it in... Okay, all right. So what are you saying?
Just asking if he can understand me.
Is Ben talking to a dog or something?
Yes.
Okay, because like I heard it muted, but I heard him say hello. I thought so. It was I don't know. Anyway, There's a momentary pause, and without turning, kind of looks over his shoulder back in your direction, clearly confused.
The world's not quite what you remember it being. You've been dead for a really long time.
There's no recognition in his eyes. He doesn't seem to understand what you're saying.
Is he taking? He's taking the box with him, isn't he?
He's still holding it, yeah.
All right, I'm out of ideas.
I'm going to rotate him, so technically it's only his head. I'm going to go ahead and leave him that way, I guess. But he did stop. He's just kind of looking over his shoulder in your direction at all of you. Let's go ahead and Sarah, Artemis, you going to do anything? And then we'll jump over to Nazim and
I really don't have anything to try and help with this. I'm just gonna move Sarah and myself away because it's about all I can do.
Okay. Like away where?
Away from the big thing that could pretty much kill us with one swipe.
Yeah, but we talking northeast, southwest, up, down? You got six cardinal directions you can go.
Up towards Norrock.
Okay, so up above, or up higher than where you were? Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll move you up to 40 then.
Great, yeah, I'm just gonna clutch onto Artemis and be like, don't fall, don't fall.
Alright. Then we'll jump over to Nazim. Nazim, you see this gargantuan creature, even as he's kind of walking into the steep decline of the waves, he's still just towering above the the horizon, kind of filling your view to the south. What are you doing?
All right, I think I remember I was on my way to assist Norrock, so I was still traveling south.
You were heading south, and a couple of these mortalists had jumped out in front of you, out of the building there.
Naturally, I think I just speak Vindian, Moorish, and Qualith, so I don't think I have anything I can help out with this. Let me go ahead and move south, I guess 30 feet.
Okay. So as you pass by the mortalists that were standing, kind of on either side of you, blocking your path almost, you walk through them, and they kind of stop and just stare at you as you go by. They don't move their feet. They just stare at you.
Okay, so they're now stationary then? Or
they're still they're not physically
alive.
They're not stopping you or walking after you. They just kind of stood still and just stared at you and turned their head as you walked by.
Okay. That's one less problem. That's my max move for that. All right. There's really not much I can do yet. No language stuff. Norrock, is there anything that you need assistance with this guy, or something that can be of assistance?
Well, I'm a one-trick pony, so I'm going to save my one trick unless we have to fight. So, and I would try to talk to him, but I'm assuming I saw Sarah talking out loud to him in Vindian, and he didn't respond, right?
Yep.
So
there's no reason. She shouted in Vindian is the common language, by the way. It's whatever all of you all understand, but he apparently does not. Okay. Sarah and I think Artemis, I don't remember if Artemis knew this from history or not, but Sarah at least knows that the Tegara have been extinct for 20,000+ years, so a very, very long time.
All right, then I guess that's the most I can do right now. Can't really communicate or anything like that.
All right, then over to Pogo.
All right. Do the zombies look like they are less threatening in front of me?
So as they were pouring in through the doorway there, you heard this huge splash to the south. Something clearly happened, and then they kind of just stopped still, like they were kind of awakened all of a sudden. And then they're just kind of standing there and kind of meandering. They don't seem to be interested in you.
You can't fool me, zombies! I'm not going to fall for that! And let's see, 5, 10, 15. I'm going to use my halfling nimbleness to get right in between them, which is... How sad is it? This is my full movement right there. And I'm going to just squeeze in between these zombies, and I'm going to cast Thunder Step and jump all the way to the edge, because this is as far as I can see.
Okay.
When I get here, I'm going to, in fact, being Pogo, I'm going to upcast this to 4th level. And so they all have to do, all four of them have to do con saves.
Okay.
And
I'm going to move you real quick so that I can get them targeted.
Shattering sound kind of whips out of my feet. I disappear, and I will now end up on the edge here, which would be the closest to the shore that I'd be able to see from that point. Oh, I gotta move. I'll move manually.
Oh, yeah, there's walls in the way, so...
Yeah, that's okay. I got it.
18, so 2 of them succeeded and 2 failed.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, one of them got a natural 20.
That's crazy.
Go
And then
roll
they
your
take
damage.
3d10s and they roll that.
They don't have a lot of hit points. So
Or I'm sorry,
you have nothing
4d10 since I upcast it.
Yeah.
Is that not? Oh, there it is. Come on, bitch. Do your shit. And then...
Oh, that's enough. That'll kill all of them. Actually,
half?
the 2 that succeed take half, yeah. So 2 of them are still alive and 2 of them are blasted in bits. There's groaning as they are destroyed or
over here. And now as soon as Pogo gets to the beach, he sees all this shit, right?
Yeah, you can see this gargantuan creature walking into the stopped as he's kind of halfway into the waves.
All right. I'm going to stay
Godzilla rises up out of the water, kind of.
Yeah, in a bit of awe, and I'm going to look at my teammates over there, and let's see. I think I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use my spiritual banjo to attack this one next to him.
The one that's already still up there? All right.
Yeah, the one that's still there.
All right.
Just hanging out in the back. Let's go ahead and click on spiritual banjo. And don't consume a spell slot. So that's going to...
just barely misses.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, and I'm just going to yell out. So, are we gonna make friends with this guy? He looks a bit, out of our league, perhaps.
With the cacophonous explosion and you teleporting to the edge there,
just gonna wave.
Even
I'm not
before
bringing out a weapon. I'm waving.
Even before you begin to shout, the boom of Thunderstep clearly drew his attention as he eyes kind of train in the direction of where you reappeared. Even from your distance, you can tell. Obviously, this is an intelligent creature. How much so, it's hard to tell. You get the impression probably of an extremely intelligent predator.
I'm just waving. Nothing. Threatening.
Hostile. All right. But he is.
By the way, I didn't realize how big it was because I physically couldn't see it on the map until Pogo got here, and I'm like, "Oh no!"
Let me change plans real quick.
Hey, that's funny.
Right. Yeah. So, but it kind of stops and rotates in place. And doesn't pay you too much mind, but it does look in Sarah's direction. You're not sure why. I guess I'll put it that way. It's not really something you could roll for. Never mind. Both, I guess, really all 4 of you except for Norak. He clearly recognized that you casted a spell, is what I'm saying. So he recognized that and is looking to you because of it. He doesn't know what it was. But to Sarah, there's a booming, very gravelly, difficult sound to replicate. I'll put it to you this way: that even if you guys were capable of speaking it, you would never be able to speak this, just because you lack the kind of vocal cord structure. Let's say it's just completely outside the capability there. But because Sarah did cast comprehend languages, there's actually I could have said that here. I forgot I can just do that because that doesn't need to go to Sarah. That could just go out loud because it is it's in gibberish. So.
What does that? I can't read that.
Oh.
Do you have a thing under where it says translate? Oh shit! I forgot because okay. I have to put comprehend languages on you. I forgot about that. Hang on one sec. Remind me to take this back off.
You got so many cool little add-ons to your to Foundry.
There's a bunch of cool shit you can do with it.
Smart. They're like, oh yeah, you type in this language, and then automatically anyone who can speak in that language, or if they happen to be casting the spell, it'll show up normal.
Yeah, it'll automatically translate it. Yeah.
And Portuguese.
If you reload, it would do it. But here, I'll just do that again. Do you see it now?
No. So I'll reload.
Okay, yeah, just reload then.
Out of curiosity, Ben and Becky, have you guys ever played like an in-person D&D game?
No, but I want to. I want to buy so much dice.
I miss them oh so much. Jeremy, it's been so long in our other game that like last, kind of end prologue, epilogue
Yeah.
type thing. Dude, it was so much fun just sitting in a room with people again. Like that shit was
It looked like it.
dope. Man, I missed you. We all missed you there.
Yeah.
We're the people that inhabit this world now. Your people don't exist anymore.
Who are you talking to?
And I want to see if you understand.
It doesn't
He
seem
asked
to.
what we are. I don't know how to tell him what we are.
At least thank you for actually verbally saying he asked what we are to the rest of the group. The rest of the group appreciates this.
You were apes.
Yeah, he's pointing at Norok.
Actually, I'm going to try to speak in Ushok and see if he understands me, and just tell him that I'm from the Antaros tribe.
Interesting.
Because I don't know how old Ushok is. So.
Oh, okay. So I'll go ahead and tell it to you this way. Remember, humans arrived on this planet 2,300 years or so at this point. So Vindian is a human language that came with them, essentially. Obviously, there's, language evolves over time anyways, even over 2,300 years, sure. But Ushok was here before, and is potentially old enough. Whether he would understand it or not is probably under slim. Give me a percentage dice roll, G.
All right.
It doesn't seem like he grasped quite what you were saying. It's clear, though, that he understands you're trying to communicate to him, and he's trying to communicate back. He doesn't seem not hostile. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he doesn't seem friendly. He just seems confused a little bit. Arteme had picked up that there was a little bit of confusion in his eyes, and with probably pretty good reason. You know that he's been dead for probably 20,000+ years. In fact, actually, Arteme, one of the books you used to read a lot, the History of the Vabian Kings, was a treatise? I can't remember. The book of the Vabian Kings, remember? The Vabian Kings, most of them were Tegara, were this species of old Vabi.
Okay.
So you don't know who this guy is, I guess. Basically, remember, you look for a specific Tegara before in Neferkari, which matched the description of the Tegara that Pogo had been raised by. And this doesn't appear to be that. You have no reason to think that this is him. But anyways, Neferkari was not in that book. This guy might have been. I'll just tell you that you have the inclination that this guy clearly had some historical background. Plus, he's very, very large, much larger than his species typically are or were. And he probably held some prominence at least. So,
do we still have anything left over from when we were in that Mephiwin tomb when I almost got eaten by the raptor?
That wasn't a Mephiwin tomb. That was a Vabian tomb.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about the pyramids where
Visetsu was? When we had the
jar of blood.
When the sex fang got taken from us by I can't remember the dude's name. But...
I swear, I heard that as sex fang.
So did I.
I couldn't figure out what you were talking about. I heard
sex,
but he meant sex fang. Sex
like
fang. And I put those in different language too, of course.
There was
he
a
meant
bag of holding.
I don't know if we sold everything or not. If we have, is any of that stuff old enough to where any of those artifacts might be recognizable by this dude? Is what I'm thinking. If so, if there was anything besides just like gems or anything, and like it had architecture to it or whatever, it might be old enough for him to understand it.
So you definitely had. I don't know if you still do. Arteme will need to look through the bag there.
Anybody could look through the bag, though.
Yeah, but you're.
We still have the first knife and the Setsu.
Yeah, but what I mean is that in narrative, Arteme is the one holding it. You guys can't just.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then I will suggest that out loud then.
Bring up the inventory whenever it comes up.
Yeah, Nork's within earshot, so I mean, Arteme, you if you were to see anything in there, you'd be the only one to be able to actually, call out what is in there.
While she's looking, I'm going to use he can't really understand this anyways. So, we're assuming we need this box, right? Because it's probably got the scale things in it?
Yes.
Okay. I could try to polymorph this guy, but if he saves, that can be very bad. And I've got the rod in my hand. I pulled out the rod, so I'm just kind of like holding onto that.
Rod of absorption. Okay.
When I cast a spell, like a positive interaction spell, do things, creatures, or entities kind of feel it? Does it feel like a good thing, or does it happen kind of benign, like they don't really have any internal, like they don't feel or know that anything's happened?
In general, a target is aware that you've cast a spell on them. There are spells that don't have that, and there's also what's called subtle spell, which is a sorcerer thing.
Where they might not know that it's been cast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But in general, they would know. Like it's a physical sensation that they would be able to know.
We have the rod, but that's it. That's left.
I was gonna say, I don't know if they're still having this conversation, but Pogo is going to be pulling out his Ocarina of Sentiment, and he's going to now that he can see everyone, he's going to He's going to get ready to start playing the heroic anthem, but he's going to not only target all of his friends. He's going to kind of make a gesture, play it, and he's going to target this big fucker too to see if he knows that we're not bad. We're not enemies.
Okay.
We're friends. We're his best buddies, guys.
Give me a performance check with disadvantage, but I mean it's not a high DC. It's just disadvantage because
that's fair.
He's
in a weird spot. He's a little confused.
Yeah, and he may not like your what a halfling thinks is good music either, but
all right,
who knows what 20+ thousand year old music sounded like.
I
rerolled the one. Okay. No, well, rerolled the one already.
Yeah.
So 16, that's not bad. That's fine.
I'll mark a thing off, and so that's the one that here. I'll click it real quick. But 2 is the top one on the. Sure.
While you're playing this and you're looking out over the water, there you don't see bubbles coming up from where bubbles were coming up of the 2 rocks there. They're not coming up anymore.
Oh. Well, imagine it like I was like,
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
I mean, just dropping him on him, he wouldn't have been able to dig his way out, so he would have been drowned in the sand.
Right. I want to immediately delete that because that's too much going on. But basically, everyone now has temporary hit points equal to my spell modifier. So
okay, and you're also giving him temporary hit points too,
because I want to know if you can feel it.
Okay, and feel that it's a positive thing. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm looking at him, and so I want him to know that we're not a threat. Okay. But everyone has 18 more hit points, including.
And your expectations, he would probably infer that as being, a healing.
If you can
trying to help
it,
him.
like I want him to know that we're not here to hurt you, big guy.
No, I like it. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because Pogo, as soon as he sees this thing, he doesn't want to fight this. I'm going to tell you guys right now. You guys probably see Pogo starting to tilt his feet towards the fucking exit of this shit.
I'll go ahead. Just because you guys have had a recent interaction with a not similar, but let's say a very large reptile-like creature with the white frost that feeds, that it has some amount of like predatory intellect. This thing has like cunning intellect. So while that the dragon probably would be a larger threat to a larger group, this thing is very smart. Similarly, very large reptile, but not necessarily as physically dangerous as much as it is mentally dangerous.
What if it's embarrassed it does not wear clothes? Maybe that's why he's just nervous right now. I mean, he's got nothing. He has nothing to be ashamed of. Look at that thing.
Well, his
fucking entire house.
His legs are still like half underwater, so although he's reptile anyway, so
Pogo knows.
All right. Anyways, as far as in response to the song, he does kind of look in your direction, and there's like the subtlest little slits of his eyes kind of squeeze a little bit, and then open back up again, and then looks back towards Sarah. Artemis, are you still looking through the bag?
I have the rod of Metzetsu, but that's about it.
Last an hour. If anybody's curious.
All we have is the rod of Metzetsu that I could find from this old stuff.
You had, or I don't know if you may have sold it, but you had the Chris knife and you had the beetle.
Yeah, I don't see the knife or the beetle. I think we sold them, or we gave them to Ozzy.
Are you sure it's not up at the very top? Because I see it on the bag of holding when I click on it.
Are there any reactions from this
Right under
creature after
the-
the spell was cast? Like, did it?
He squinted at
Change.
you. Yeah, he squinted at you.
While I'm playing my
unsure. As far as the music.
Yeah, the music and the effect that it had on him. Did it seem to at least relax at all?
Well, I wouldn't say relax. He did. It definitely there was a reaction. I will tell you that you would probably translate it as a positive one, but he didn't relax or anything. He didn't physically move beyond that. You're probably
The Chris knife and the rod. That's it.
What are you doing?
Well,
I'm gonna
see
drink.
what it reacts.
How
Yes.
high is this cliff, by the way, that I'm at?
15 feet.
Alright.
What do you?
I
You
was
said,
just-
I don't. Fox, I think you cut out there. You said
Sorry,
something,
Fox.
and then see if it reacts. I missed the first part.
Oh, I'm gonna take out the knife and the rod and see how it reacts to them. I'm not gonna like use them or anything. I'm just gonna take them out.
Okay.
Just give it to him like a present. See if he likes them.
He does.
He could use one to like get food out of his teeth or something.
Even that'd probably be too small. It's a knife, but it's a ceremonial sacrificial dagger. It's not a very large one, and he's quite big. He does look in your direction, and kind of tilts his head forward a little bit, which Norok that places his jaws like almost right over your head. Like he's way up. It's still there's a lot of distance, but his jaws are basically just floating over your head, and it's like spittle and water dripping off of him and hitting you in the head. He does kind of peer clearly in the direction Artemis, but doesn't otherwise physically move.
Alright, I'm gonna
Okay.
see if I can like mime some shit. So I'm gonna point at the box and kind of do like a questioning look, like what is that, and see if he understands.
And Pogo's just gonna be looking at her, just being like, "No, terrible job."
No, her
To be
performance
interpretive
for
dance.
miming.
It's not even interpretive dance. It's not even interpretive dance. No, it's,
We're gonna need to
what
do
is
some
it?
mime
It's
classes.
Too boring.
later.
So boring. You gotta dance in the sand, paint a picture.
I'm on
No,
a broom. I'm not on the sand.
dancing
would
is
be
your
like-
job.
I'd be drowning in the water right now.
I'm going to. I don't know how old it actually is, but I have that armband of Mephua, so I'm going to step back to where he can see me and take it off and hold it up and see if he recognizes it. Because I don't know if it has like anything, if it's actually even is that old or if it's just named after that culture.
It's about 500 years old.
Yeah, okay.
The Mephiwins kind of fell apart about 450 years ago, largely due to the Yogg, actually. In a significant portion, Yogg kind of forced them out of their homeland. So, anyways, they're not that old.
Okay.
Which, in fact, actually, you know what? I was going to make you guys roll for this if you even got to a point where this would matter. But specifically because you did that, Norok, because you kind of stood back, looking at the armband and kind of rotating it or whatever to show it to him, you notice that the symbols that are on the armband are replicated on the box in multiple places.
Huh.
Which stands out as very strange when you think about how old that armband is and how old that corpse must have been that he was
Yeah.
raised from.
So that I'm assuming that box probably wasn't in his hands the entire time. Or...
Absolutely, yeah. You would for sure
It was
put
put
that
there.
together. There's no way that there's no way that he died holding that box. That box had to have been there. Which
Okay, and where's Ozzy?
he's not here.
Here.
Yeah, no, but I sent him a message. So did he
Wait, what?
get back to us yet?
Oh,
yeah.
you mean you're talking about last week, or are you talking about something? Did you say something I didn't hear you?
Yeah, like
last
last week, I sent him a message saying like that they were trying to resurrect this thing, and we think it had scales.
We've only been here. We were literally at the castle, like.
It's been, you guys
An
left the
hour
castle
ago.
2 hours.
ago.
Yeah, 2 hours ago at this point. You left about 2 hours ago, but that message sent to him would have only been at this point about like 2.5, maybe 3 minutes ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I remember the fight only lasted 30 seconds, and you've only been standing here with him for like 2 minutes. Thereabouts.
Oh, I've got a plan, but poor Pietro is really gonna hate it.
How many times are you gonna sacrifice these things? They're gonna stop hearing your
Yeah.
call eventually. They're gonna see your phone call and just
I'll
hit
have to
ignore.
change out my spells. They're
You're
like,
gonna
oh,
get-
that's what
you're gonna
happens.
need to
Like,
get-
ah.
You're gonna need a new spell number.
Are they an endangered species? I think not.
They will be if you keep feeding them to monsters.
Oh, it's been 2. And I didn't feed one of them. One of them was the next. One of them just died.
Sarah, give me a performance check.
Oh no.
Anyways, if whenever PT happens to get back in the area.
Did you call him back over? Because he's not that
Yeah,
far.
he was on his way last time, but he is, he's still far enough. It'll take a few rounds, I'd imagine. I'm going to have him go to the beach and land, and then I'm going to go next to him and I'm also going to pantomime and give the bird to him to eat and just sacrifice PT.
I'm going to glare at
20,000
you.
years is hungry?
I'm just wondering. I don't know.
A very mad look from Arteme for sure.
I'm going to glare at you.
I don't know. It might not even happen.
Friendly creatures that you summon are not to be given as food.
If I see Pogo doing this, Pogo doing this, I'm going to use the stone and be like, no, try to trade him the box for the bird. He doesn't know what the box is.
Alright. I will pantomime. If this happens, if PT gets here and we're on the beach, I will pantomime that I'd like to trade him this lovely, barely used new bird, slightly dented, for that old, terrible box. It's really a steal.
You translate.
I'm gonna pantomime that to the best of my abilities.
You drop that in the balance.
If there's enough time for this, the reason I was asking the cliff, Pogo should be able to get down there, and I'd just probably be somewhere around.
Yeah, you can.
If you want to move me, I'd be somewhere around here, and I'd be offering PD Pablo as sacrifice while this poor bird. It's no look though. This is the further.
I mean, I'm assuming it's related, but do I know the specific meaning of it?
So he didn't use the word box first of all, but that's what you would translate it to. In the comprehend language is he has to kind of find the closest word to it. Imagine trying to take German and translate it into single words when the whole words are sentenced in German very often. Things like that.
If you're curious, noodles in German is Nudeln, and that's my favorite German word.
Okay.
Noodling. Fun.
And the second word that I imagine you're asking about is a practitioner of.
Okay.
The suffix means practitioner of. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Shit. Okay. Well, apparently, whoever brought you back from the dead is called a Corvallis.
Hang on.
Yeah,
No. So but that's not what you would infer. You would infer that he was referring to the necromancer, the Erdeman that just that brought him back.
I didn't know that the magic that brought me back to life was Corvalane, because we discussed that with.
She would know. Yeah.
I used identify.
Yep.
To find out what type of magic.
And
he obviously knew.
And I don't want to
knows
point
what that is too.
Fingers, but ever since then I've had a weird sore on my lip. I don't want to say it's from
you
that.
probably shouldn't tell people that. It's the kind of thing you want to keep to yourself.
I don't know. Maybe we should.
Okay. Well,
good.
The sorcerers that brought him back want this, and he called them Corvallis, which means they use the magic that brought you back.
You guys know that he did. You guys saw him casting. The Corvalane is what was used to res him. Also, Corvalane is what was used to res most of the zombies that are around. Either halflings, which
I thought it was just Pogo that found that out, and he didn't tell us.
Sorry if I may have revealed that. I don't think Justin intended to keep that secret, but if he did, then sorry, Justin.
For the zombies?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew.
Wait. Yeah, you did. All of you knew because Bol
we've already talked
and
about
Sophia.
Corvalane.
Yeah, Bol and Sophia told you that that's what they were doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you did know. Yeah.
So we knew that it was. That's right, because they were like, it's a magic that we don't use, and it's looked down upon.
And specifically, again, in fact, actually, Arteme, I've got a thing for you. Arteme, make a flat in.
Sophia
I guess.
Was that, I think.
Sophia. Yeah. Intelligence check. Make it history. I think. If you've got proficiency with history, it'll be better. But otherwise, just intelligence is fine. The DC won't be very high because you spent a lot of time reading this book.
Do we know what's in the box?
No, but I'm assuming it's the scale. Does it look about the right size to
Here's the thing.
scale?
Here's the thing. If it was the scale was just this guy's scale to bring him back to life.
No, not this guy.
Not Sek.
No,
this is not
Sek.
Oh.
Sek is huge. Sek. This guy's name is. Well, you don't know his name. Never mind. Sek is a city-sized snake.
All right. I was wrong. So Pogo now is now concerned, and now Pogo realizes, oh, it's all right. Oh no.
Yeah, does the box look about the right size to hold the scale? I don't remember if I asked.
Probably
this.
way big enough to hold the scale.
It's huge. Basically, imagine like a mausoleum. Imagine like a stone coffin, like a sarcophagus, but twice the width. It's huge, and he's carrying it like it's nothing, but it would clearly weigh a few thousand pounds, like probably a couple thousand pounds. But you do know that the sheaf of scales is supposed to be like on a frame. It's a big. Like, again, this is all, we're talking mythological history at this point. This isn't, a physical object that people see. But imagine, in the real world hearing, stories of, like, the Shroud of Turin or, the cross that Jesus was crucified on and blah, 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 right? So those kinds of historical artifacts, that same kind of thing, that the basic shape of this thing is like a giant picture, a wall frame picture kind of a thing.
Okay.
On a frame. Artemis, I'm sending you a message here.
Okay.
You didn't roll very well, so I can't give you a lot, but I'm trying to give you,
Well, yeah, I'm not proficient in history, and my intelligence is not that good, so...
But the good news is that because you personally, as Fox, said that Artemis would spend, spend time reading this book on numerous occasions, so I'm going to say that to you. Because you kind of put that kind of effort in.
Had, right? So,
yeah, it was for a very long time. Yeah.
Reading, I don't have much to do for like the 4 hours that people are like sleeping because I only trance for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of reading.
Since you specifically pointed out that you were reading this book over and over and over again, I'm going to say that the DC is really low, essentially. So you're not going to get a ton of you're not going to get all the details, but you're going to get some at least, even with the low roll. But if you reread later on, now that you know what you might be looking for, you might get more details then too. I'll tell you that way.
Okay. I'll probably read it once we're back in a safe spot.
Sure.
So, after bid, I'm guessing we can assume that it does not understand what we're saying.
It still does, yeah. It's not appear to. Although the miming that Sarah did for the box, it seemed to understand that, and then it said something in response to that. She didn't tell you guys what it's. She kind of did.
They said it didn't understand it, and that.
Yeah. But there was one part of that. The sorcerer. Yeah, you said the part about the sorcerer. You didn't mention the other part.
Wait, what did I miss?
The first. There was 2 messages.
This box, unaware. Corvus wanted it.
You asked if he knows what's in the box,
yeah.
Or knows what the box is.
Yeah, so he has no idea what's in it. All he knows is that they wanted it.
I don't think we're going to get it from offering him a bird. Then I don't think that's going to do it.
I mean, we gotta try something. We have to try to get that fucking box. We can't let them get it from him.
He still seemingly a little bit confused. He's kind of very slowly, like it's clear that he's not agile just yet.
How big and heavy is that box?
Probably at least a couple thousand pounds. Dimensions. It's
probably filled with water by this point.
For sure, it's still dripping water. Like he's holding it up and it's still pouring water. Shit, no, it's not. Never mind. No, it is not. It is not dripping. Oh, it's still dripping water off the outside, not from the inside. I guess is how I'd say that.
Oh. Watertight box.
Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but I just said it.
Yeah. Like a dolphin's vagina.
But he's like slowly rotating his head and kind of looking in all directions. And
I mean, I could try polymorph, guys, but if he's super fucking smart, this could be bad.
Someone throw a tennis ball. Tell him to put it down.
I mean, it's just like a normal. It's just smart like a person.
Just know where this is, but I don't know how to tell him where this is. He can't understand.
I'm gonna try to draw a map with my feet on the sand of like the entire continent. I don't.
I can pull up
Pogo's seen
my bag. Hello.
He says he doesn't recognize this place.
Okay, I'll just pull out a map from my bag.
Oh, there we go.
You like hold it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it up.
Okay.
While she's holding it, since I'm in front of her, I'll point to where we are.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. I like this. So this is going to be...
I was just thinking minor illusion. I can probably create a small minor illusion of a small outline of a map like a star constellation type of stuff.
Yeah, you can actually with yours, you could do 15 by 15. You could make
Pogo
it.
has now stopped
It'd be
dragging
bigger.
his foot through the sand.
No, they both had better options.
All right. This is better, I suppose.
So I guess from where I'm standing, I'll cast a minor illusion in front of me, project both my hands forward, and cast just a huge, as big as I can, a rudimentary map, just a very, an outlined, almost like point-to-point star type of map that he can kind of understand. If that makes sense.
Normally it's 5 by 5, but don't you have a thing that you can do 3 minor illusions at once, don't you?
Correct. Yeah, 3, and it could be.
Right, so just want to do 15 by 15.
Yeah, so it's big enough for him to just see.
Well, it wouldn't really be 15 by 15. I guess it would be 5 by 5. Well, 15 by
5 by 15 or something.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it's certainly large enough to get the point across. Arteme and Sarah, you guys, pointing at the map there, and he's squinting at it, but he doesn't seem to quite pick it up. The kind of line map, I guess I would say. He kind of squints in the direction of the illusion that Nazim is creating. He leaning still like kind of largely over Norak. I'm going to tell you this is going to get uncomfortable pretty quickly because he's huge.
Drag his balls right across your face.
his feet, all 4 of his feet are still in the ground, but he's centaur shaped, so he's got all 4 of his feet are still underwater. But his upper body is like leaning over you and is just like still being dripping water all over you. Plus, if he like leaned over slightly, if he fell up, you're just gone. You're just mushed. But
you can't move, by the way, Norak, if you choose.
But he might take that as a threat.
Slowly back away.
Back away.
Hands up, like palms up, like just slowly back.
He doesn't seem to be concerned at all with you guys, as even if you were hostile, he doesn't seem to be.
His lack of concern is terrifying.
Yeah. But looking at the line map, and I'm going to put the reason. Well, this will make sense, I guess, in a moment.
By the way,
every
5 to 10 seconds, you guys are hearing like a bong as I'm still keeping my spiritual banjo just banging on the fucking heads of those dudes up there. Just every once in a while, for a few seconds, so everyone knows.
Does he recognize anything on the maps? Does it look like
So I'm typing something that that he's going to say this that you're going to be able to pick up, and it's up to you on how you want to translate this. But
do I know what that is?
no,
Like-
you'd have no way of knowing that at all.
Alright, so something called the Shrehisha? It's probably
So is this when this
messed up.
happens? Is he
Something
just yelling
mountain.
like a guttural sound?
Yeah, it just gibberish. Imagine I had to use crocodile alligator type art for them, but it's actually a monitor lizard. But imagine trying to hear language from the mouth of a monitor lizard, as if what kind of sounds that could make would be mostly hisses and growls, but not, it wouldn't sound like words at all.
Right, so he says that he recognized some kind of mountains, and those were his eastern border.
Wait, is he some kind of
and
animal?
That means that we stand in Kezra.
All animals.
Desert.
Fuck.
But this isn't like a desert landscape, though, right? This is like jungle now,
Hold on.
isn't it? Or swamp?
This is swamp. Yeah, this is swamp now. But remember, he died 20,000 plus years ago.
Well, was desert.
What he's saying, and the reason, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and point this out. The reason that pointing at the current map doesn't make any sense to him is because he doesn't recognize there being an ocean here. He looked at the line map that Nazim had drawn, and there's a mountain line to the mountain range to the east. And just from the line map, he sees the line of the mountains and recognizes those.
Is Nazim aware of the topography of this land?
Yeah.
Kind of like how you and I are aware of Pangea, so we understand the concept of it.
Yeah, but even just history of Vabi was much further north before the humans arrived. So before the humans arrived 20,000 years, they arrived 2,000 years ago. But anyways, when this was all desert, there was no ocean here.
So I guess what I could do is I could change the image that I'm projecting, and show the map as is currently today, but have it slowly morph back into what it would have looked like in his time, and then break it back apart slowly to how it is now.
Okay.
In other words, showing the United States and Canada and everything pushed
Yeah,
together
yeah,
into Pangea and then bring it back out again. So that
20,000 years isn't enough for continental drift, but it is enough for ecology change and biome
yeah,
change, including
pretty much the
oceans.
same concept. But
Yeah,
I just
I
want
get
to
you. For the sea growing in and so on. Give me a... I'll let you make an argument if you have a better roll that you want to make, if you can, make a good argument for it. Otherwise, it'll be a performance check.
Okay, I'll just do a
Kind of an
performance
artistic
roll.
sense. Okay.
Would he technically be an animal though? Like in
No,
theory?
not really. I mean, in the same sense that, like, if humans would be animals, like in the real world sense, but not in the typography sense of D&D. So I guess what is your question? What are you aiming for?
Because I was gonna try to speak with animals, because that lets me like speak in animal tongues for a bit. But
Saying based off D&D rules, no.
No, so specifically, I would say that you would probably you would get closer. You would start to realize that is clearly a language, but it would still sound like gibberish to you because you don't know the specific language.
Yeah, I think that's made for creatures with an intelligence under like 3.
Yeah, I think the 3 is the limit if I remember right.
It doesn't say. It says
like anything
it
above
say,
3 is like no longer considered a animal. They're considered like a creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically animals are creatures too, but yeah.
This is what it is. Like it doesn't.
Okay, so specifically, you see where it says beasts. So
Yeah.
I love the picture of an
That's a
angry
pissed off
cow on there.
well, you don't need to talk to happy cows. You know they're happy. But specifically, you see where it says beasts in the first sentence there. What it's referring to there is the animal type. So all of you guys are considered humanoid. Undead is a type. Automatons are a type.
Yeah, no, that's why I was asking if that would work. That's all.
Yeah. I like the idea. Unfortunately, it wouldn't give you the specific language that he's speaking.
Yeah,
If he wasn't an intelligent, sentient species, then yeah, that would definitely work. But like I said, it would get you a little bit closer. In fact, I would say if you had both speak with animals and comprehend languages, you'd probably you'd be clear. You'd understand it clearly.
Okay,
instead of
so
like
can I
gibberish,
cast that as a ritual onto Sarah?
I mean, it's not going to help her communicate with him. So it's not going to really change things, but she would understand the words of it, I guess is what I'm saying. Rather than just sounding like gibberish. Yeah. She's getting that from comprehend languages anyways. It's just a mental translation as opposed to, hearing it as words. Mechanically, it wouldn't make any difference. It would just be kind of flavor, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Right back. I'm going to grab some dinner and I'll be right back.
All right, dude. Nazim, the shaping that you're doing of kind of redrawing the map to explain this, there is a gesture that you don't recognize this from at all. It's kind of a tilt of a head. If you were to have the ability to translate, it would be something kind of a gesture of understanding that he seems to be kind of grasping what's happening. And then he says this.
He wants to know when we are. So,
How would we give him the concept of time?
He definitely understands the concept of time. Artabe, you would know that for sure because you know that he's probably... All right, I'm just going to say this out loud because Artabe told you, well, because she read it in the books and then she had translated this to you at some point, or given this to you. The Tegu-Ra, specifically the old Vabian kings, were his species, almost all of them. Meaning he's, especially as large as he is, he's very likely to be a Vabian king of some sort. And he was probably in her book. Anyway, they specifically the magic that brought Pogo back, Corvalane, is what they used before Old Crow got pissed off. The god of Death Crow got mad about it and removed Corvalane from the world and gave them Demolane instead. Part of the reason that happened is because the Tegu-Ra would constantly transplant themselves from one body into the next to keep themselves alive forever. And so he most certainly has a concept of time because he lived through that. The only difference is their reckoning of the year would not be what the human calendar is, which is what the DE calendar that you guys use is. So.
okay. So you said that it was Crow that took their ability to use Corvalane?
Crow was the source of both rills. Originally Corvalane was given to the world and they used it, but as they began to abuse it, he took it away and gave them Demolane, which is a neutral, like a slightly neutered version of death magic.
Do we know roughly, I mean, in any history books I've read or anything, when the Tegu-Ra people started and when their Corvaline was taken, because we could kind of like do.
Sorry about
If we
that.
haven't estimated about like how many, hundreds of years or whatever, we can do like a timeline type thing. Like,
Would that be in the
started,
book?
Here is 100 years when they took that, and this is where we are now.
I'll go ahead and tell you that you guys, until very recently, until specifically this interaction with Pogo and a little bit of Nazim. Nazim hasn't really told you a lot about it, but Corvaline people was so long ago that people just kind of don't really remember it very much. But you did get a little information from Ozzy, a little bit from Pogo, a little bit from Nazim, and so on. That happened right around the time that Sek was overthrown, when Sek was destroyed, which was about 20,000 years ago. Also coincides with when the Tegara were killed.
Okay, but we don't know like when the Tegara like evolved into what they are.
Oh, that was 100,000 years. They were around for a very long time.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the guys, that specifically this would also come from the book Arteme read about the Vabian kings. Many tens of thousands of years ago, they were around and ruled Old Vabi, which is kind of, the still called Vabi. The country is still called Vabi, but Old Vabi was a very different place. Humans were not around. It was mostly Yuan-Ti, the snake folk, remember? There's another species called Vohk, V-O-H-K, that were around then as well. And Yuan-Ti, well, I just did that in Tegwin. Yuan-Ti and Vohk were, well, Dim Vohk, but Vohk, that right there, were the two kind of primary species of Old Vabi. And they were almost all ruled by the Tegara. But at some point, and you don't know specifically what the instigating factor was here, but at some point around 20,000 years ago, the Yuan-Ti and the Vohk rebelled and they destroyed the Great Serpent of Autumn, Sek, who you had the Fang of, and so on. And then they continued their overthrow of the Tegara kings and lords and wiped them all out, leading to their extinction, except for, this guy in front of you. And then, that's as much as you have. I'll put it to you that way.
Conversation looked like it's going well. Like if
This
I
isn't
if I was-
conversation. This isn't something like
Yeah.
this. This is just
This-
background
this-
that Arteme
this-
told you guys
He
previously.
wants to know when are we? We're trying
Sure,
to figure
but
out
does
how
it
to
look
get him
like-
to understand where we are.
I'm going to just kind of try to get him to come out of the water and like follow us back into the thing. Does it look like it has any intention of going with us in any way? Like,
No.
does it look like it wants? Do I get the feeling like it wants to just go back into the ocean, or does it not seem like it's is it directionless? Or does it-
You know what? You didn't see him turn around. He already started to turn around and go into the water, and then you guys had stopped him by communicating it. Then your explosion that you set off. He seems maybe slightly curious what you guys are, and he's trying to get some information from you that he can at least try to communicate with you. So it seems like he's curious enough to continue this conversation to get what information he needs, but other than that, he doesn't seem interested in you at all.
All right. And just to be clear, guys, and he can't understand this, right? Yeah, he
No,
can't.
he can't. Yeah.
So just to be clear, like we just need that box, right? Like maybe we could just get the box and then just fucking run away. Do you think it'll chase us?
Are you planning
We
on carrying
can't
that box?
That-
'Cause I can't.
Way too big. Way too
Well,
heavy.
just
That
let
was
me know.
actually my next
If we need the
suggestion.
box, I'll try to get the box. But I just don't want to fight this thing, especially now that it's got 18 temporary hit points.
That was my next suggestion.
More minutes.
That was great.
I was just gonna see if I could do an image of the box, because I know what the box looks like. I can see it,
You can see it, yeah.
and then I could just do an image of the box, an image of him holding the box and putting the box on the ground in front of us, and just see if he could understand that.
Are you
box.
doing that?
I was actually gonna ask, should we try that? In other words, show him the image of the box, show him an image of him bringing the box, putting it on the shore for us,
Also,
and leaving
in
it.
that image, see if you can have PT, like give him PT in this image. So he knows we'll give him this bird if he gives us the box. And to sweeten the deal, he can also have
You got a packet of jerky or something?
yeah.
What else are you going to throw him? I can hear that you're looking through your inventory.
Yeah, I'm just going through.
You've been asleep for 20,000 years. Have a bird.
Yeah, I don't have a lot.
I mean, he's kind of undead, but maybe he's hungry. I don't know. I mean, they
No,
grew
just the bird, just the
scales,
bird.
maybe they grew his
We'll
scales.
go with the original plan, and then if we got to sweeten the deal, we'll sweeten the deal.
That's fair. No, I like that. I like that. By the way, Jeremy, Pogo is holding Well, Pogo has a plan. If this gets, as soon as this goes bad, Pogo wants to cast Polymorph and turn himself into a giant ape. As his first reaction.
Okay.
Oh, well, mine was to cast Polymorph and try to turn him into a clownfish, because that's seawater.
Why did you get the box?
Gigantic thing.
Clownfish
Well, yeah,
are fine in seawater.
if he's a clownfish, then we could just take what we need out of the fucking box and
Well,
get out of here and be gone in an hour.
Couple things there. If he's a clownfish, that box is gonna land on him.
But he's holding it, so wouldn't he like?
Maybe, I suppose. I guess it would be kind of under one fin, and then he would land on top of the box. Maybe, yeah. I guess it depends on the angle of how it falls and everything. But anyways,
I like to think of it where he turns into a clownfish right in the middle, so he's like 10 feet away from where the box lands.
Yeah, like he shrinks down into.
It depends
that's probably fair.
What part of his body turns into the clownfish and its relation to
I
the
would
box.
say that it would have to collapse into center mass at whatever the most nucleus of the body is. It would be the only thing that makes sense. So.
Now all a clownfish would have to do is swim up to shore, for a second, die, and then it would turn back.
Choke himself.
But he's also gonna have the intelligence of a clownfish. He's not gonna want to die.
That's
all right. Well. So where we are now, though, he is asked, "When are we?" You are all kind of looking at each other and talking back and forth. Nazim is kind of preparing to maybe do this other illusion if you guys want to do that.
I vote for the Pangea thing.
Well, you're already doing that. You're already doing that.
We'll do that. We'll tell him what time it is, so he understands the time difference, and he already understands the map, what's going on.
Oh,
and then if
all right.
necessary.
Okay,
so in other words, now he knows the map. He sees the topography, but now I'm about to show him the.
He got that. He understands that portion.
The Pangea portion. I mean, it's not Pangea, but you know what I mean. Show him the change in the continent over time, so he understands how long it's been.
I don't know that he could translate that to.
Like a weird PowerPoint presentation.
We need like an event or two events that happen during their time that are a certain distance apart, so we can show him like, hey, that happened here and this happened a year later. Now, 20,000 years later, we're here. So we at least have like a time frame reference for him.
That's not a bad idea.
Does
Nazim know any history of his time? So in other words, like you said, if he died 20,000 years ago, something happened 5,000 before that, 5,000 before that, and we could show 5, and then fast forward really far ahead. You are here, kind of thing.
As far back as written history goes, it's going to be pretty hard pressed to find much that happens before the Great Serpent of Autumn being destroyed, which you don't know would coincide with his kind of when he died. But there aren't written details of before that. You know what? You could probably just give, because you wouldn't, you as Sako wouldn't know. You could probably do the raising of the Kufunamat pyramid, for example, which is Sako. You weren't playing it this time, but it's a very large tomb that Masetsu was in Vati. So I mean, you could do things like that. I would say that you could do some historical representation, probably architecture based, to get an idea of that.
All right, let's try that. Let's do like a line graph of time and put points of interest, notable points of historical interest. And then once he sees that large gap of nothing, you are here, 20,000 years ahead.
Okay.
See if he can understand that. I'm assuming he has no concept of freaking numbers, so we have to kind of go visual.
Or translating numbers would be difficult. Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't know the symbols that you would draw for numbers. Yeah. All right. So you draw out this kind of extended line graph with these illusions of pyramids over it and so on, to get an idea. He stares at it just in rapt attention, and he definitely seems to understand. You can't read any emotion in the face. It is a lizard after all. But go ahead and give me, anybody that's staring at him intently enough that might notice this, give me a perception, insight check. We'll do insight.
Oh, seriously?
Is everybody gonna roll high? Norik's the only one. Oh, Norik isn't rolling because he's not staring intently.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, kind of just making sure he's not going to do anything
He's-
aggressive. Otherwise, I'm kind of just waiting. So
He's fascinated with the silent image.
He's got the sunglasses
He's
on.
also
He's
staring
doing,
at the line graph.
he's doing a visual. He's doing a visual pat down.
Pretty colors.
It's a visual pat down.
Oh, I secured him when he walked in. With those rolls, he's clearly there's a certain amount of sadness, I guess you'd say. It's hard to kind of translate to what that might look like on a lizard's face, but realizing just how far out he is from his time, there's a resignation, I guess, and still holding the box, he begins to turn and head back to the waves.
Wait,
Make a very loud noise. Yeah, make a loud noise, and then I'm going to show him that image of the box and him leaving the box here with us.
He stops and looks in your direction, and looking at Sarah. He's kind of pieced together that Sarah can understand him. Still kind of facing away, but head turned. And
What do you want with it?
Motherfucker, I've been muted this whole time.
yeah, I haven't heard you.
What makes you any better than the Corvallis? He wants to know what makes us better than the... Can you show him, like...
And I go ahead and turn myself into, I'm going to polymorph right now and turn myself into the giant ape and just flex
Wait.
my guns.
No! No!
A giant ape gun
Oh my
just
God.
flexing.
beat your chest like King Kong.
Right. I want to ask...
No, I'm doing it.
Zine.
Yeah, I don't care. As soon as you say that, that's what I'm
You're
doing.
actually
Prove
doing
that
it?
I'm
All right.
better. Yeah. But
He-
I'm not attacking. I'm flexing to show since he just asked this question and I'm
He's an intelligent being. He wants, like, a reason, not I can turn into a giant ape and kick your
This
ass.
is a good reason, man. If someone asks me like what makes you better and someone turns I'll be like, alright, it's not gonna hurt.
He
I'm
does.
a giant ape now and I'm
He
fucking
does look in Pogo's direction at this flexing, Arnold poses giant ape, and then immediately just looks back to Sarah. he doesn't seem the least bit interested or persuaded by the
Fucking-
powerlifter flexes.
bummer.
So I'm asking Nazim if he will show. Can your silent image show more than? Can it show like a movie scene, or is it just like an image?
It's a minor illusion, so I could just do a visual and auditory type of thing.
Yeah,
So
technically he can do 3 at once, so he
Yeah.
could do 3 separate 5x5 squares of something. So he could do, depending on what you're asking, probably. I mean, at least 3 separate objects.
I can
Okay.
create like an image of an object.
Okay.
Kinda
Could
thing.
you do like an image of what the Erdoman looked like walking alongside us in the chain of dogs, and then the next one is the keep surrounded by all the undead, and we're inside, and just kind of like make it. We want to keep it from him, so like make him understand that we don't want them to get it to do whatever it is that they're doing.
Okay, so still images of these things and have them move around like shadow puppets, pretty much a 2-dimensional kind of thing. Keeping it very
Kind of,
simple.
like, they kicked us all out, they're trying to kill all of us, and they want this thing, and we don't want them to have it, essentially.
While
You do
he's
know that he's
making-
Fabian, though.
I know, but I'm hoping he doesn't
40,000
realize
years,
what's
man, maybe-
inside,
Maybe
and
he
they don't...
He might not
that's why I'm
recognize,
not-
maybe it's like the way
Yeah.
the Republican Party's changed over the last 40
Yeah,
years.
that's what I was gonna
like,
say. Yeah,
Maybe he's like, oh shit, they were cool when I was there. I don't know.
Whatever you do, don't put that they're trying to bring Sec back, and that's why we want it so they can't, because I'm pretty sure he'd be cool with that.
I'm gonna go ahead and in my ape form while they're doing this, I'm gonna walk and grab one of the undeads, and I'm gonna like just kind of take a bite out of its head and just like and then offer the rest, like the body, to this.
Those are
creature.
your halfling brethren.
What does
You
it taste like? Does it taste like bad because it's undead? But it's like I feel like it's recently undead, so it's more like gonna be jerky-esque.
Well, I mean, he does have the intelligence of an ape, so.
No,
That's true.
polymorph. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
polymorph. Yeah, it's sculpture of flesh. It's still
Fuck,
polymorph.
so I'm just sitting, flexing my muscles, eating a halfling on the beach.
Like that could have been, the waitress in the bar when you were here in Cadogan before. Remember? Like this is the town where you met the rest of the group. This
Or
this
the
like
old woman that owned the shop.
yeah.
That you try
the
to
one where
give
you guys got the
mimic
mimic eggs
coins
from?
to.
Yeah.
All right, you haven't answered my
I
question.
did.
Does it taste good, or is it just bad?
We're gonna have to assume that it's long pork, so it probably tastes something like pork. Although the brain and skull would not, most certainly. That'd be much more mushy.
Well, I'm useless as of now, guys. So I can't talk, and I have not very high intelligence.
But you can choose to revert, though, at some point.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm enjoying being an ape, having a snack.
Yeah,
relaxing on
a
the beach.
halfling snack.
Yeah.
The images that you're portraying there, he doesn't seem to grasp what you're trying to, because he doesn't. I mean, you trying to show yourselves being kind of evicted from the country, and then trying to attack you doesn't necessarily tell him why that makes you guys any better, or why he should leave the box with you. He did tell you that he doesn't care about the box. It's not his. He doesn't know what it's for. He told through Sarah that he's unaware of what it is.
I don't know. How the hell else are we going to tell him that we just don't want them to have it? Like, he wants to know what makes us better, but I don't know what he didn't like about them. So, anybody else got any ideas?
That's it for me.
Not really.
Oh my god, I'm going to have to try and polymorph this guy.
He asked another question.
Oh shit. Oh, right. Hey, Nazim, do me a favor. Use that silent image and show Pogo, and then show him dead, and then will you show him being brought back by one of his people?
By one of the Tegura?
Yep.
Tigura resurrection, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll cast
Why Pogo is like them and what makes him any different.
the 3 minor illusions. I'll put them together, so 5x5s across the board, and I'll show the imagery of Pogo's resurrection and convey that message
Okay.
best I can.
I didn't think you guys would get here. I kind of nudged you in the right direction. I did not think you guys would get to that specific point. Even with the hint, that hint there of why is the ape Corvalast. What he had said was why is the ape Corvalast, because Pogo is an ape now and he can recognize that Pogo has access to Corvalane, which is it's something he's concerned about apparently. But anyways, he was asking why should I give it to you when the ape is clearly Corvalast as well? He's not any different than the necromancer. But specifically, that last note that you said there about showing a Tegura resurrecting him very clearly piques his interest. He stops immediately. There's a very instant freezing of muscle. You guys have seen if you've ever seen a lizard freeze in place, like if you're walking along a road and or hiking or something like that, and you see a lizard just freeze because they all of a sudden see threat or see danger. He freezes just like that, instantly. And for a creature this size is an interesting sight. But stares quite intently at the image of a Tegura, resurrecting Pogo. Says that.
I'm just gonna.
He points at
make
the
a
image
gesture.
and says that.
I'm just gonna make a gesture like we don't know who. He wants to know who brought Pogo back. Pogo never said he knew who, so I don't know.
Are you talking to the dog again, G? Or are you talking to the ape?
No,
That's just me. That's just me making noises.
Oh, that's you. I thought that was Ben. Ben was still lit up, but I thought he was talking to his dogs.
That's my impersonation of Ben right there.
The guys at work do say that I look like that giant shaved ape from the Rampage movie. So that's what they say. They look like a giant shaved
That's
ape.
hilarious.
I'm just shaking my head no, because none of his people are alive.
That was the impression you got about him. Like, the overthrow of the Tiggerwa was clearly a very violent thing that occurred, and his people were wiped out by it completely. So when you told him the timeline and kind of he understood what was happening, that there's none of his people left. What seemed to pique his interest there is that there might be another. But you shake your head no. He seems resigned back to that same kind of distraught look. Make a. Do you know what I'm going to do? This as a group, so go ahead and everybody. Shit.
I have my modified stats for it, or
Your
not
ape?
do it.
Well, shit. Actually, if anything, yeah, Pogo not being in this makes this a lot harder for you, because this ape persuasion would be pretty
I got
pretty
-2
low.
on charisma, so
Okay. Who wants to? It probably should be Sarah, Arteme, or Nazim. Then I would say Pogo would be able to be involved, but
Got a +9.
for persuasion.
Yeah.
Nazim should be really good too, because I don't know if he's proficient or not.
so thank
Yeah,
God
I'm
you are
proficient.
the only two
I'm very
actually,
proficient.
and you are the only two actually doing anything. So that probably makes decent sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have said
Right.
Pogo, Arteme, or Sarah, but since Pogo is a
I'll roll it. I'll roll it
Nazim,
if it's
rather.
for persuasion.
that's not a +9,
You have
Sako. That's the +9 that you're looking at is your wisdom save. Persuasion is a +10 for you.
All right. So can I give him advantage then?
With
since
what?
we were kind of talking and
Oh, as far as helping,
I was
sure.
doing the talking. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. All right, Nazim, so make a persuasion check with advantage. All right. With this very kind of tense and what's the word I'm looking for? Difficult communication with him. It seems to have at least passed enough. He seems to at least understood what it is you were trying to say to him, and you obviously understood him okay. He kind of leans over towards Norok. Norok, you're already kind of standing there, but realizing you're probably the only one large enough to be able to really do anything with this box. He steps a little bit forward so that the box is not fully in the water, and then sets it down beside Norok. And then you see him kind of spin in place. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that had you tried to fight this thing, I was actually looking forward to it. You would
We
have.
might have been able to beat it. I feel like we might have been able to beat it. Like, we're all still. I still got
You just
full
wanna
hit
kill us all.
points. I've got a lot of spell slots.
Yeah, your guys' resources were fine, but I did put a
Yeah.
lot in there that
My
like
resources are not because I used a lot to try to
So
stop them from bringing him back.
Yeah.
but
just to
I do have
know,
the
though,
will.
we are just kind of letting this little Godzilla guy just back out in the water just to do whatever. An undead Godzilla guy,
that is a problem for
right? Is that
another
next
day.
week? Is that next
Yep.
month's problem? Yeah. That's campaign 3's problem.
Yeah.
This is like when you're flushing a baby alligator down the toilet, and you're
That's
like,
the-
oh,
that's
Gonna go
that's
there
the,
for beds.
that's a problem
I
for the
mean,
natural.
we're gonna have to
deal.
post a warning sign or something on this beach.
No
He's got
swimming.
enough information to know when he is and where he is. Whatever he does with that is up to him and whoever he comes across.
Pogo in his ape form is gonna wave like with both hands, just like
Well,
that.
you
as
see
he's
him-
going by.
I'm
You
just
see him as
my
he's
gratitude as best I can and just
you see
I'm
him
gonna-
kind of leaning his upper torso basically downward, so then he's just basically a long snake with 6 legs, and then the kind of sinuous motion of an alligator swimming through water as he pushes his way under the waves and disappears.
Pogo in my ape form. I'm gonna go and just grab. Are there handles on this box? Any handles at all?
No, it's smooth stone. You can see where the seal is, like where the lid is, but it seems to be like shut, frozen shut.
Try to just.
go help him open that. So we don't need the gigantic fucking box.
Okay, well, I don't know what that means, so I'm just gonna try to start dragging that box up to the entryway of this town.
Even a giant ape, 2,000 pounds is like you can probably maybe a couple inches through the wet sand, but as soon as you start moving it too much, it's going to sink further into the wet sand.
Well, then
We're
I'm
just
gonna
trying
try
to
to
pry it
open.
open here.
I'm gonna try to open the box.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and tell you too that it is early time for it's morning time, and the tide will be changing here shortly too.
Oh yeah, we need to get this thing open now.
And it's like right now there's only maybe 6 inches before the seal where the lid is.
Well, I'm just gonna try to do whatever I can as a giant ape. I'm not that smart, so I'm just gonna start ripping and tearing at the top of it.
Okay.
Actually, giant apes aren't too bad. I mean, 7.
Oh, you're strong,
for
yeah.
intelligence. And
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as bad as I thought.
12 for wisdom? Okay. Shit. Good job, Giant Ape.
We can try to, use something to pry it open. So, like,
I got a crowbar, I think.
I think I have a crowbar in my inventory as well too.
I feel like this shouldn't be right. I feel like a giant ape shouldn't have +1 to wisdom and only a -2 to intelligence. Seems like it should be dumber than that, but
No, well, I mean, it's apes. I mean, they literally,
Yes,
with,
apes,
can
yeah.
have human communication with sign language.
it's just NPCs can have 7 intelligence.
Yeah, that's true. Norok doesn't, but a similar Yogg in a famous Critical Role show has a intelligence of 6, I think it was.
Yeah, he had like negatives and stuff to his intelligence.
Yeah.
All right, well, me and my incredibly intelligent ape-like state is going to try to tear this box open. Maybe I can pick up somewhat of a stone and use it as a wedge in between and just start banging on it with my big gorilla fist or ape fist.
Nothing's happening.
Don't worry too much about the tide because I can fix that problem in a second. We don't have to worry about the tide taking it. But
It's gonna be the scene from
if we're running out of time, just let me know.
it's the scene from
I sent you a message too, Sako. Scene from what?
what's the Ben Affleck movie where they're beating on the computer? The files are in the computer.
God damn it.
No.
Fucking love that movie. No,
Yeah.
it's not a Ben Affleck movie. It's Ben,
Or Ben
Stiller.
Stiller.
Yeah. It's fucking
yes.
Blue Steel. Yeah. The
Yeah.
files are in the computer?
In the computer.
So I'm just
Not
gonna
an
be
Amy
kind of like
Turner.
pulling on whatever lid this is, trying to get it open.
Nothing's happening.
So an Arcana check on this thing.
Yeah.
It's a magic chest.
It's sealed magically. It's below your passive. You're the only one standing back that isn't, distracted in the moment. And Pogo is an ape, and Sarah and Arteme are up pretty high. So you're the only one that's got giving it a clear shot.
All right, could we
It's clearly
use
sealed magically.
Could we do a dispel magic and dispel whatever's on it?
You feel like that would probably work. It is just Reconitus, so you can tell that it's just regular arcane. It's not anything particularly complicated. So the dispel might do, as long as it was high enough level.
All right, I'm gonna chuck a dispel magic on the seal that's locking it.
Okay. What level are you casting it as?
It says packed slot level 5, 2 slots. That's the only option it gives me.
Oh yeah, duh, you're full warlock. Yeah. 5th level. Roll a percentile dice for me.
Percentile, that's the 2 dice, D100.
Yeah, the one on the far right above the roll.
Coming up.
My ape frustration, I'm gonna grab another undead and just start smashing it against the top of this box.
All right. Well, as you are, covering it in bits of brain and bone, you hear a sound of a vacuum seal releasing. The box doesn't move at all, but from a distance there, Nazim had casted something at it, and it seems to have released.
And I'm just gonna throw the top of the box off, but I'm gonna think I did it, so I'm gonna dance around a little bit with my
The
hands in the
slashing
air,
zombie did it.
with half a dead body in my hand, just with my pumping the air, all excited
Well, all right. So as you're dancing around, it's God damn it, I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head. Oh, Zoolander.
There it is.
Yeah. As you're dancing around with this, splattering of gore, the lid, you throw the lid off, and just a good glob of what must have been maybe intestine splatters onto the inside of the box. You throw the lid away, look down to see what is a huge wooden frame with leather spread across it and stretched thin like a tanning rack, with these glimmering golden scales.
Anyone else
Leather,
And-
you say?
and a big chunk of bloody gore just splattered across the middle of it.
Can we see this from where we're at on
Yeah,
the berm?
you guys are 30 feet up or 40 feet up. You can see straight down into the box.
Right,
Norok is standing beside it.
I'm gonna let Ozzy know that we found it.
Is there anything
Okay.
else in the box, or is it just that?
That's it.
Oh,
It's
I'm grabbing
rested inside of a frame so that it's held securely. You can lift it out.
Tear it out. I'm just gonna pull the whole thing out.
Already splattered
And
it in
after-
gore.
after I do,
priceless.
I got- Yeah, I've got one hand with half a halfling and the other hand with half of that, and then I'm just going to walk a little bit away from the water and just start walking to the front of the place.
Arteme, Sarah rather, you hear, you've been gone 2.5 hours. People have been looking for that thing for centuries. What do you mean you found it?
I mean, they brought a Tegara back to life, and he gave us the box he was holding that had the scales in it. He's now back in the ocean, by the way. That's something to deal with
Is
later.
that he responds? Is that what Arteme was referring to? Then they brought
Yeah.
back a Tegara, and there's clearly like impertinence, like he doesn't believe it.
Yeah, no, we straight up communicated with this thing. It was weird. He's huge.
Why am I hearing an ape in the background?
Because Pogo's carrying the scales as an ape.
He seems incredulous. He doesn't.
taste weird.
Oh,
I'm gonna like
man.
take a little bite, like a nibble. No, I'm not bite
no.
it. I'm just kind of curious to see what it tastes like.
Pogo is going to create an international incident where
Oh
the
my
Navians
God.
have no choice but to.
I am going. No, don't make me do that. Hang on.
I'm not gonna eat it. I'm just I'm a little tiny nibble. See what it tastes like. I'm curious.
Nora, don't let him eat that shit. Keep him from doing anything. Don't let anyone see him with that.
It is huge, by the way. It's far like when Pogo reverts, it's gonna fall straight to the ground or crush him. Like it's only because he's a giant ape right now that he can carry it. Even Nora carrying it is going to be awkward and difficult.
Okay, so I do not remember what he wanted us to do with the scales when we found them. Sarah would.
He
Arteme
said
would.
to
We had
contact
just talked
him.
about this
Yeah, he
the
said
day
to
before.
contact him as soon as we find it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which is
but
bullshit. Because I just
he
wanted to get a big hole.
Did he want us to destroy them, or?
He left it up to you guys. He asked you if you would let him know if you do find them. He didn't think you were going to, but he asked if you would let him know before telling the commander, Pepperjack. Or at least, let him know first so that he could, maybe discuss of what you guys might want to do with it before letting the Empire know, but up to you. He wasn't pushy about it, basically.
Yeah. Really serious found them. Not real sure what to do with it at this point.
What are
I'm
they?
trying to-
Is it something you could bring here safely?
It's exactly like it says it is. It's big and framed, and the only reason Pogo's not dead is because he's a giant ape.
How big?
We could try.
Would you be able to bring it back with you?
Like, exactly how big is this? Like, could Norok carry this by himself?
Yeah, awkwardly.
Like, it
Yeah, he could.
wouldn't
He can
be-
carry it by himself. It's just
Like,
it would be
would
like
it
you.
fit
yeah,
through
like-
the hole in a tree?
So imagine, you know how one person carries a mattress. If you've ever moved and carried a mattress by yourself before,
Awkward as shit.
that's how. Yeah,
big
it's
on your back.
like a
Yep,
twin
you do it on
size
your
mattress.
back. You do it on your back like a turtle, and you have to reach
Yeah.
both arms out to either side, and that's what he'd have to do essentially. It is like it's solid enough. It's not going to bend through the middle. That he could have it on his back as long as you're not like having to run. If you have to run, it would probably be a problem. But anyways, awkward and he wouldn't be able to fight or really do anything else.
Sure, we could bring it back, but they're gonna know as soon as we get there exactly what this is. Like, we can't hide this. It's big.
Is it in a frame? Like, is it like a painting in a frame to where
Yeah.
we could roll it up after?
You mean if you cut it out of the frame?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tanned leather that is secured to the frame.
Basically, so the tan leather is basically pretty much solid.
By now, yeah. I mean, this is many thousands of years old. It's one solid piece. You couldn't really take it out of the frame without damaging it. Which, I mean, that's up to you if you guys wanted to do, but that is, And the frame itself, probably 1 inch square, so like, where you have a 2x4, 1x1 all the way around. With solid wood.
So, I mean, yeah, we can bring it back, but there's not gonna be any hiding it.
Where are you now?
At the beach, in the city, or what's left of it. Over
Can
by the
you-
lighthouse.
Where are you heading to? What is your next target?
Pogo,
I mean, is-
Pogo's gonna come back
Destination.
to the beach, and maybe start using his like big ape finger to start maybe putting in like our transport circle, just starting it, but not using a spell slot, just do it, or just like can you, if it takes a really long time on the spell circle, the circle of return.
1 hour if you don't use any
Yeah.
spell
So I'm
slots?
just gonna start doing that
Okay.
in this end. That roll was for an intelligence check with my -2 modifier, so I was thinking 14 probably at least let me
If
kind
you
of
would
start to do that.
recognize her enough to do
Yeah.
it as an ape, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not well, but so that people would see what I'm doing.
Well, I'm not real sure that we had planned to find this, but I know that our next step was to go to that ship, but I don't think we should be carrying this thing with us. So, I don't know where we're going at the moment. Guys, where the fuck are we going?
Is that Fox? I heard somebody try to say something and then cut off.
Oh, I have no idea where to go.
He replies while you're waiting on a response from them. I don't really want it to be here either, but it's probably the safest place. Do you think Arteme can push you through a tree? Would it fit? Could you get through a tree if I just hide it and you can take it into the kettle keep and hide there?
You know what? I'm gonna...
Are there any blankets in this fucking town?
I might have an idea. I'm gonna go tap on Pogo and try to get him to revert back.
Still munching on a halfling.
Because I need an intelligent fucking conversation.
I'm gonna say you get the sense that Pogo really doesn't want to unless he needs to.
I'm just gonna look at him and hold the rod up and be like, if you don't turn back, I will waste this and make you turn back.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and put down the thing, and I'll put down the half a halfling, and I'll end my spell. So I'm back to Pogo.
All right.
I've got a weird taste in my mouth now.
Yeah, you
It's
probably
good then,
shouldn't
it's weird
be
now.
eating your relatives. That's gross.
They're not my relatives. They're just, I mean, they're all dead. It's nice.
That just makes it worse. Like,
Does
they've
it?
been dead for a little while. Yeah, so that just makes it even grosser. It's not even like fresh game.
All right. You know, I mean, what are we doing?
Alright, so he wants to know if we can bring it back without anybody really noticing. Could you make yourself or make this thing invisible? And we could just say like,
I can
Norok
make if
messed
someone's
up his back
carrying
and he
it.
just needs some rest.
Yeah, if someone's carrying it, I can make it invisible with them. So
Oh,
Norok
so we
could
could
be
just make
invisible.
Norok invisible.
Yeah. Or, you know, I could have been a giant ape. Oh, I guess I couldn't have fit through a tree or anything like that. So we can make Norok invisible, and as long as he's carrying it, it'll be
Right.
invisible with him.
Okay, so... And Arteme, can you get us back through a tree, or am I using a circle to get us back?
We can
I
use a
could get us
circle.
back through a tree. I'll just have to upcast
Will
it
that-
and then rest before we do
Will
anything
that
else.
thing fit through the tree, though? It's
Sideways
big.
it would, if he turns it sideways.
Okay.
Alright, then I will let Ozzy know that we will be back through a tree, and Norok and it will be invisible.
Okay.
Definitely want to go through the tree. We don't want to do the. We don't want to.
Well, we want to be next to the keep because we are trying to keep people
Oh,
from
that's
noticing
right.
and haven't
No,
until we
that's-
figure out what we're
that's
doing
good.
with it.
We'll
we
do
can
that,
take
and then
it, the trees in front of our keep, so we
Yeah.
can just kind of run it in.
yeah, and then we get there. Yeah, then Norok, you just run your cute little bottom into the keep so we can keep it secretive.
Cool.
All right. So this only lasts for an hour. Can we, if we hustle a little bit with him carrying that, will we be able to make it to that tree?
Yeah, well, he wouldn't be able to run, but there are other
Oh.
trees. You don't have to use the same one to go back out through that you arrived from.
Right.
So you could use a nearby tree here, and then Arteme can take you into one of the trees that she grew inside the keep.
All right.
Yeah,
we could
let's
do
do that.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
Right.
So I will go ahead and I'm going to cast invisibility at 3rd level because I don't have any more 2nd level slots. Totally, perfectly fine. Doesn't bother me to have to spend more energy. Oh. Yeah, I know.
I mean, do you want everyone to know that we have this thing? Because I don't.
I wanted to dig a hole and put it in a hole, and then we could just forget about the thing.
Well, maybe we should at least hear Ozzy out. I mean, Ozzy got us out of the city safely when they
Did he
started
want
the
us to
chain of
bring it?
dogs.
Was he like, oh yeah, bring it back here, it'll be fine. It's cool because we're not surrounded by an army who's looking for it or anything.
I mean, we should at least hear him out, and then he left the decision up to us, so it's not like he's, you know, give me, I must have this thing. We can at least hear him out before we make a decision.
That's alright, so that's fine. And Norak, you are now invisible. If you go to Marco,
Yeah.
All right. Then, Arteme, are you going to do the pass via plants?
Yep.
All right. Then you all prepare yourselves to rush through the tree. I didn't. Yeah, let me grab that scene, actually. I forgot I had that audio on there. That might be loud, sorry. Let me find that scene here. I wasn't expecting if you guys were going back there or not. I didn't have that scene ready for you.
Should we take a quick break?
Oh, yeah, we can. Sure.
That way, get Ben and Becky their cigarette break on.
Yeah.
All right, be right back.
Right.
You guys want to go potty? Come on.
I'm gonna refresh my thing. I'm still going to the warp.
Oh, I didn't reload the next scene yet. I still had to bring it up.
Oh,
I had to grab one of the. I wasn't expecting you guys to. Well, I wasn't sure if you guys were going to be going back to the Kettle Keep or not, or back to the Crow Fort rather. So I didn't have a scene for the Crow Fort ready.
gotcha. If I do a quick 2-minute break real fast.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
All right, be right back.
Back, Justin.
Man, my office is just not well designed to eat food.
still just play from your office where you're working normally?
Mm-hmm. I've only got the one office.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you would run the game from there, but I thought you were playing from like living room or playing from a different room or something
I
before.
did that once.
Oh,
and that
maybe
was when
that's
we
just
were
one
having
thing
that
with it.
weird glitch with my video card until I updated it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, because you didn't have that or the Intel's 620 or whatever.
It felt good that our final game, playing with real dice, felt nice. Felt right. How do you eat artichokes, Jeremy? Do you eat them with mayonnaise?
I don't eat artichokes in general, but yeah, I mean, in the rare occasion when I do, yeah, mayonnaise is fine. I don't really, they're. I mean, I guess it depends on how they're prepared, but in general, they're fine like they are. You don't really need anything, to me anyways, to dip them in anything.
I'm eating mine with hummus this evening. I'm on a real hummus kick these last few months.
Wait a minute, are you talking like like jar, or what is it, not pickled, I guess, but the when they're just a little chunk of yellow, or are you talking about the leaves? Like
I'm talking about the leaves, like
the full leaves. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, mayonnaise would probably be fine. I'm sure I've done that before, but as far as I don't know. I like them just fine like they are. I don't feel like they need anything on their own.
They're too much fucking work.
Yeah, that's it. Is there's too much work for
minimal.
Oh, yeah,
you pick a leaf off. You eat
and you get like half of a bite of
you get
something.
A dime. You get a dime worth of worth of foliage. But how's the taste? I mean, like grass.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not, but on pizza or whatever, those are fine.
Yeah, artichoke hearts that are basically in oil.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if they're actually pickled or what, but yeah, whatever they are when you buy them in a jar like that, those are fine.
I think they're usually grilled and then put in oil. I think that's usually how they are.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, as humans, we're probably just like, ooh, oil, and then we're just fucking all about that shit.
I'm tired, dude. It's been a long ass week.
You had a long week?
Yeah. We'll probably I'd let Ben and Becky know when they get back too, but we might need to end a little bit short tonight. We'll see.
Okay. Did you have another update release?
Yeah. So I was telling Sako about this earlier, but I had to update VMware for AT&T, and it's just a huge pain in the ass one to update because the installer is 340 megs or something like that. It's huge. And then the install, it doesn't give you basically the error code essentially that it spits out when it's done doesn't tell you if it actually did the installation correctly or not. So you have to wait like 10 minutes or so for the install to go, and then you don't know if it's actually done, so you have to do a different verification step. Which I just run it all through PowerShell, so it's not anything that complicated. It just takes a long time. And there's 7,000 different stations that need it. So
yeah, that's one of those things where I really want to get better at is PowerShell. Right now, I only know super basic commands like how to remotely shut down someone's computer and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can use PS shutdown for that. That's pretty simple. Yeah, I mean, I can help you with PowerShell. PowerShell's, I try to do a lot.
I had to put together an MFA token list to see which one of our staff aren't using MFA or is not enabled.
Yeah.
And there's no export option under the MFA token in Intune, so you have to do it manually or use PowerShell. But the fucking, it was like, oh, you just gotta do this and this. And I was looking through, I was like, this is more than I have comfort level doing. This is a lot.
Is it just pulling from, the Intune version of Active Directory?
More or less. But it was like if it was, I know it's a website, so it doesn't have pages, but it would be like a 12-page fucking how to put this PowerShell together. I'm like,
Yeah, we don't have anything in Azure ourselves at the moment. We support it from AT&T and a bunch of other clients, but none of our stuff is cloud-based at the moment. Mostly because of expense, because my company is cheap as fuck.
You guys are a pretty big company too.
Yeah, I mean, especially for our size, but
I feel like your company probably would go Microsoft if they didn't have someone like you.
We actually looked at it a few times, and we don't even have an SCCM. So I am the SCCM. I do that myself, like personally. I literally am it. I mean, the technicians can do it to an extent as well.
You
But
just push through the updates, man. Well, if it makes you feel any better, no one in my department or team knows how to push anything through SCCM.
well,
We
That's
just use it
job
for remote
security,
connection.
Jeremy, but it's
yeah,
bullshit.
it is. It is. Yeah, that's why I don't complain about it too much, really. Like, so as far as like Windows updates for servers and shit, there's a server engineer that does that. That's not me. App deployments though for the the end stations, all the hosts, host PCs on the domain. That's me. So I
No
do
one
all
knows
of
how to
that
use
stuff.
SCCM to do that in my organization.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare, dude. It makes life so much easier.
It would, and I would like to have it too, but unless I was the one managing it, then like that'd be like half of my day that I wouldn't have anything to do because that's so
Yeah.
much of my normal work.
You
But
gotta sell it.
these
and be
days, I
like,
also do all the
hey,
audits for compliance too, so that's a right now
The trick
during
is,
audit basis is
you
a
gotta sell
ton
it
of
without
work.
telling them that it'll take half your hours away, and
Exactly.
then you just
Yeah.
relax.
I mean,
Sell them
we've
on
talked about it a
SCCM.
few times, and it'll, at some point, we'll probably end up with, we won't end up with Microsoft SCCM. We won't get a proper one. We'll end
Yeah.
up with some third party, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not ideal, but I like the challenge of having to work around those limitations a lot. Like that's actually really fun for me. Making something work that isn't intended to.
Typical Jeremy. Always gotta set the game to insane difficulty.
Oh my
that's
gosh, that reminds me of a friend who made a Minecraft server, and they had so many plugins that other people could get to work together, working together. It was insane.
Yeah. Even Skyrim with the VR thing, I have 300 something mods in there that I play that with, just
liking that, by the way.
to bump it in, crazy difficulty stuff. So much fun, dude. That's exactly what it should have been in the first place. But I mean, obviously VR wasn't there in 2011. The end
VR
of
is
2011.
it's pretty rad. I'm actually surprised it hasn't gotten further than it has in the last 4 years, especially with COVID. I would have thought it would have gotten a huge leg up when everyone had to stay home.
Well, it did because of the Oculus. So the problem is that the really good hardware is expensive. Like the index kit was $1,500. That was $1,000 plus whatever accessories and shit that I needed for it. So that was $1,500. The machine was $2,000. That I because I needed an upgrade. I had technically my old computer. I had a 1070. Which was fine. It would still run it, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it. So I upgraded that. I put more memory in the computer. That was another $300.
I'm still surprised it's not more mainstream though. Like, there's a lot of people that have that kind of money, and still there's even people in the IT industry who never touch good VR.
Yeah, but I mean, when you can do the Oculus for $250 or whatever it is, the Quest 2, I think it is, right? You can do something like that for a lot cheaper. You just can't do the really high-end VR experiences. So
It's completely neutered, and people don't know that you have to still plug it in directly to the computer to actually use it as a pass-through.
yeah,
Because
like
that's one thing I know.
to play the play
Yeah.
the good high-end stuff, you still end up using the gaming computer anyway.
Yeah, people don't get that. Like with the Valve stuff, it's always plugged in. It's good to go. You just play off of Steam. People buy the Quest thinking that those applications that you buy are the exact same applications you could
Yeah.
play. It's not. They don't understand that you got to either plug it in hardwired, or now you can do the wireless thing,
Yeah.
and it still runs off your PC hardware if you really want the good stuff.
But I mean, I'm loving it. I've got almost 100 hours into Skyrim
Holy
VR.
What kind of character did you end up getting?
That was in January though when I got it, January 15th or something like that. So it's been a while.
Are you running a stealth archer, or is it too
No.
hard on your knees?
No, stealth. Like I did that my very first playthrough when it first came out. In 2011. But like that gameplay is fun one time through. After that, it's like I know a lot of people just fall back into it, but there was just never like I guess I just did
That's
enough
the
of it that I
joke.
just never went back into it. It is, yeah. That's the
I
meme.
actually
Everybody
like
falls
that in
into stealth
VR
archer.
because it's really hard to be a stealth archer. You really have to work yourself. Like, you're literally crouching and
Yeah.
moving through for an extended amount of time.
I mean, you can play seated
physically.
though. Like most of the time, I just
Oh,
play
see, I don't
seated.
play
anyways.
seated. I play
Yeah.
it like room scale, where I'm like
Yeah, I do sometimes, but
kneeling
most of
and,
the
like,
time.
crouching and like crab walking awkwardly through dungeons.
I put a mod in for throwing weapons, and I grabbed the model for the axe from God of War. So I have a throwing axe the whole time, and that's really
Really?
fun. Like that's actually really fun.
How are the
Uh,
physics for the throwing weapons?
Works great. Yeah, it works way better than I thought it would. Like it actually has, it gives it some weight. So remember originally, before I'd even started doing all the VR setup, I was complaining that I don't like that almost all VR, there's no weight to the weapons. There's no impact. Like you basically can just, because there's no collision detection for the weapon to the model. Yeah, they're all the same speed, and you can flick them back and forth, and it counts as individual hits because there's no collision detection, and specifically meaning that there's no collision detection between the weapon and the target that you're hitting. When it hits it, it should stop and it should slow. And obviously, you can't replicate that in VR because your hand is still passing through, but you can still display it that way and have it control that. In fact, actually, there was a game, the only game that I found so far, and I haven't played that many to be fair, but the only game that I found that did do it right was Walking Dead. It's Walking Dead like Sinners and Saints, I think is what it's called. And that one, that is, you're stabbing a zombie in the head with a screwdriver and shit like that, but it actually handles it the proper way, where you have to, hit with a significant amount of force for it to actually do anything, otherwise it'll just glance off and things like that. And that actually felt really good. I only played it for like 15 minutes or something, but I mean to get back to it at some point. But anyway, because of the throwing weapons, that's not an issue, because if I'm just standing back and throwing it, then there's no separation of belief, I suppose, because it's not passing straight through. Exactly, it is impacting and sticking in the body, and then I call it back, which is what the 2018 God of War did, which was really fun. But anyway, so everybody back?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Then you guys running through the tree, Norok invisible and carrying this frame, this massive frame, and having to kind of stand up sideways and hold it very awkwardly as he kind of turtle walks almost through it, passing through the tree and back out into the freezing blast of snow inside of the Crow Fort. You're not actually inside the Kettle Keep. That was just the only map that I had available.
I just had a thought. Does Norok still have the ring that turns him invisible?
I think he unatuned it. Didn't you unattune that, G?
No, I think I gave that to you.
Yeah, but I gave it back.
Okay. But I don't think I have it attuned, though.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think you unattuned it for the fight with Legion, if I remember right. All right. But yeah, so either way, though, he is already invisible from it anyways, because he put on the invulnerable armband. I think he used that attuned instead and took the Elven Veil ring off, because he kept the Ring of Evasion on, took the Elven Veil ring off, which is a really good one too. Like that ring is very powerful and doesn't get as much use as it probably could in some of your situations. But arriving back into the keep, none of you see Norok, but you do hear the crunching of snow behind you as he's very awkwardly stepping his way out. Give me perception checks, everybody.
That's gonna be bad.
I mean, you gotta remember too, those dudes may have to check in or something.
Meaning the necromancers of the Erdwin and Seardom?
So they might be like, oh, I think the necromancers aren't reporting back.
Well, I mean, they don't know that we killed them and took it.
Shit, you guys are all rolling really well tonight. Even Fox. All right, you stepping through the treeway, scanning around. You do see already standing in front of the tree, just prepared and waiting for you, and clearly looking a little bit worried, anxious is the word I'm looking for, is Ozzy standing right by the tree. As soon as the light appears, he kind of steps that way. You see him kind of the disturbance in the snow where he was as he jumps to the side. And as you guys rush through, let's see, that would be Pogo. No, Nazim. You guys rushing through. You look up to the battlements. The wall essentially surrounding the Crow Fort here, and there's one soldier that stands out. Something definitely seems very strange immediately. You don't feel like you're necessarily threatened at the moment, but something definitely stands out. There's a soldier up there that's staring at Ozzy. Nobody else near. There's soldiers stationed about 10 feet apart, all along the ramparts. As you rush through, though, Ozzy kind of stops and very, very anxiously, tense. Looking around and starts kind of pointing towards the Crow Fort, trying to kind of, usher you guys off in that direction. You see him making a concerted effort to not look at Norok.
We're obviously going home. I think we already told Norok just to go straight for the keep, so I'm just going to start walking to the keep at a slightly brisk pace.
Okay.
I'm just going to walk normally.
Nazim, as you're looking up there, what was that, Becky?
Did Nazim point it out to us?
He didn't say anything, so no.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start staring at him. The one person that's just strange.
Okay. All right.
And I was
Did
going to
not
kind of
notice that
tap
Nazim is being-
Norik
hasn't
on
said
the
anything,
shoulder
so-
because
Okay.
I'm going to tap Norik on the shoulder and just kind of point at him and just whisper over.
Norik's invisible,
Norik's
and if you
invisible.
tap him on the shoulder,
Oh,
it's gonna
sorry.
make it- Yeah.
Well, as I'm walking, I'm going to tap whoever's closest to me and just kind of let them know, hey, under my breath, quietly.
Artemis, he taps you on
something's
the
going on
shoulder
with
then, and you look up to see Nazim also seeing this. You look up to the wall and see a soldier standing on the wall there. They're stationed. You know, this is normal. The Crobalanders are generally stationed about 10 feet apart on top of the wall and peeking out, generally looking outwards over the Vabian Legion outside, right? But one of them is kind of leaning against the rampart there and looking at Ozzy and following the rest of you in your direction. So, I mean, he's still kind of turned sideways. He's not facing directly out, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, except it just seems very suspicious. And as you're watching, he reaches into a pocket. You see him lifting something out and bringing it up to his eye as he's staring in your direction.
Oh shit.
I'm going to gank that. I'm going to grab him by the wrist.
He's not even close. He's
far away.
yeah, he's up on the wall, 50, 60 feet away.
Oh, he's high up then. He's out.
He's not way. I mean, the wall is only 10 feet up, but he's far away. He's on top of the rampart's wall, and you guys are on the inside of the central keep.
I'm going to kind of, I know Norik is by me, so I'm going to kind of gesture or just kind of mention Norik, take cover behind something. Someone's got something up there, and I'm just going to point up at the guy with the thing putting to his eye and tell the rest of the group what's with
Would I
him.
recognize this thing immediately?
Meaning, does it seem bug-like? Is that what you're
No,
asking?
Like, does this look like my gem of seeing, or is it something?
It sure does. It looks something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
no, I'm gonna
yeah.
fucking fuck that dude up.
There's a soldier up there that, as Nazim
gonna
is saying this out loud, you know, Nazim is saying this out, not loud enough for everybody, but loud enough for your group. You do look up there, and yeah, you sure enough, you see him holding something that's glinting in the light and looking in your direction at the group of you as you guys are rushing towards the Kettle Keep.
Do I know? Would the gem of seeing be able to see through my darkness?
Well, you might not know it's a gem of seeing too. Like I just immediately recognize because
Well-
I've had one for a while.
I'm assuming after seeing you use it so many times that we would know that it's similar to what you use.
Can you click your gem of seeing real quick, Justin?
Oh shizzle, my nizzle. That was weird.
I don't know if you can say that anymore.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Even that one.
You are
Let's
getting
see.
too jiggy for us, sir.
yeah.
It is
Sorry.
True Sight. So, does True Sight get through Magic Darkness?
I don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you that he's clearly already seen.
Yeah.
You guys would already be able to intuit that he's seen Nora.
If he's already seen what's going on, I'm just gonna fucking bolt.
True
it.
Sight sees through. Let me see. True Sight sees through darkness, including the darkness created by the shadow of Moyle. In contrast, True Sight doesn't penetrate physical concealment, such as that would be created by a dense sandstorm or blanket. That's
And
Jeremy
Norik was
Crawford.
unable to get behind a wall or something for me to warn
There
him. you know?
isn't. Like, you literally have to cross the main part of the central keep to get over to the
Did
Kettle
he-
Keep doors, which is the
did he-
direction you're going.
Get behind the
Gotcha.
tree though.
Not with the entire frame. No, the tree isn't big enough to hide the whole thing. If that makes sense. The guy hasn't like attacked you or anything. He's just looking at you through the gem. Which you guys know
I
that having
recognize
there
that
been
shit,
multiple
though.
spies. Yeah, but you know that
Yeah.
there's been multiple spies that have come through.
I'm
There
gonna
would be
Eldritch
one of those.
Blast. I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast that fucker.
Okay.
Oh god.
Nope, shoot him across.
Do the other so
Shouldn't have slept
he's-
with my girl. And I was gonna fucking Eldritch Blast him.
God. Are there other
Okay.
soldiers around him, or is he just by
There's
himself?
there's
right
no
in the
there's
spot?
there's one 10 feet to the left, another one 10 feet to the right on the wall.
But
Great.
they're
So
facing
he's
outward, though,
probably
right?
not a spy.
The others are facing
'cause
outward.
They would
Okay.
they
Well,
would notice something is wrong with it.
I don't like it. I don't trust it.
Well,
Oh god.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, no.
the first one actually
Spy!
both of those would hit.
Fucking throw out 3
You're
Eldritch
gonna shout spy? Okay.
Spy! And I'm gonna hit 3 Eldritch Blast.
All 3 bolts impact this soldier. Like he clearly, tried to begin to evade, but he didn't have enough time. All 3 bolts impact almost at the same time, and you see an eruption as he just bursts into a swarm of thousands and thousands and thousands.
God,
That
that could have gone real bad.
There's a clink of something hitting, like something, let's say mineralish, landing onto the stone of the wall, and then collection of swarms of bugs kind of falls up over the other side and over the wall.
Right, and we determined that the coins, did they have to speak physically through the coins, or was it like a mental connection through the coin?
Don't know.
We're aware.
Yeah.
Shit.
All that I kind of helped you with that too, but you had intuited eventually that the coin was being used for the detect thoughts spell, or that it at least is the ingredient necessary for detect thoughts. You do also know, because of the vast erudition, a different use of coins sometimes in subterfuge, specifically in spy situations, is that coins, or any, doesn't have to be a coin, but any small, very easy to conceal and very obviously, let's say, mundane object, can be used for communicating through, just like your Rocky Talkies.
I was trying to figure out if, like, he saw it, he could communicate through the coin mentally, that he saw it, like, the instant he saw it, or if he needed to, like...
He had a good few
verbally
seconds
feel
there.
like-
Yeah, he had a good few seconds. You don't know whether he was able to transfer that information out or not, but the bugs didn't die. They burst over the other side and are, on the other side of the wall and presumably dispersing.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to try to go kill a bunch of individual bugs.
You guys remember
Actually-
what the trays are, right?
Yeah.
Those?
Yeah, they're the ones
I think
that
Arteme does, yeah.
all the...
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I put
one
Moonlight to be able to
like-
see with.
No,
Yeah.
it's going to take me too long to get up there. I'm not going to go try to kill off a bunch of little fucking bugs that have been scattering for the last few minutes.
Yeah, I can tell you that
seconds.
by the time you got there, you might find some, but you're not going to
Yeah,
find
unless
them all.
someone has like some cool spell that can affect like a huge amount of area.
Yeah.
But I ain't got
Nope.
that.
Ozzy, we should probably go figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with this thing, like, right now. Because
He's still rushing along. Go, and he's kind of rushing everybody into it. He stops. If they already know, we need to go into the central keep instead. It's better protected. Any kind
Well, I
of
don't know how the coins work, so...
Well, we just assume that they do know, though. Better
we need to
go off
assume.
that.
I mean, we
All
can
right.
tell at least Pogo didn't just murder a crowblinder because he
No.
turned into bugs, but
I was 60% sure. I've just never seen a crowblinder looking
I'll take
through
them
one
odds.
of these gems before. As I pull mine, I'm like, this doesn't seem like a standard issue for the crowblinders. I don't know why they'd be trying to get up in our business.
then he starts kind of corralling
Let's
you
go.
towards
We
the,
gotta go then.
towards the inside of the center keep. Then
Alright.
I'll meet you there. I'm gonna go grab some beer before I go into this thing.
Hey, if you're going,
Shannon,
grab
just give me a
one,
second.
too.
well, the commander almost always
Alright,
wants one,
okay.
anyways. Yeah,
Alright,
Pepperjack
I'm
almost
gonna
always
go
wants
steal a
one, too.
tray and put some beer on it, and then I'll right out as fast as I can. I'm gonna do it quickly, and I'll use my mage hand to keep it level.
Keep it steady. All right. A three-handed drink carrier. All right. You guys rush your way in towards the central keep. As soon as you're in through the door, thankfully it's a little warm because that was a very, quick blast of freezing cold air. As he rushes you towards the library, just go in, and we'll have to hide it behind a bookcase or something. Just take it in there and do as best you can. I'm gonna go talk to Pepperjack and see what he says.
He's still invisible, by the way. So.
Yeah, Norok is, yeah.
Oh.
But he knows you guys are with him. I mean, you can hear him and everything. And
I imagine he
knows-
was here like his heavy bed style breathing.
Yep. Especially carrying that shit.
Yeah, trying to awkwardly
Probably
carry like a
knocking people over
mattress-sized
and shit.
picture. Yeah, accidentally hitting him when he spins around.
No.
What? Somebody say something? Whoops.
Alright,
What are you
I
guys
guess
doing?
We'll try to hide it as best we can.
Just going to the central keep, right?
Yeah, you guys running into the central keep, then back towards Ozzy's library, and he told you to try to just hide it behind a bookcase or something. So you make your way back there. Ozzy has run off to presumably go talk to the commander.
Before I go back there, I'm actually gonna, out of curiosity, I'm gonna go where the bugs were, and I'm gonna kind of. I know I'm not gonna be able to kill them, but do I see anything over the edge of maybe where they're running to, or if they're running away, or if there's any action away from that to see if like anything's changing? If I hear any call to arms or see any modification to how this army is trying to line up.
When you come back out of the crow's nest with your tray of beers and make your way towards the the stairs that lead up to the ramparts, you see the two soldiers that were nearby. There's actually two others that have come over as well. Have moved over and are looking over the wall at the spot where where the bugs fell over the wall on the other side. And they see you coming up. Oh, that was nice of you. I mean, things are a little
Right now, what happened to the
drinking at the
bugs?
moment,
Where
but-
are they? Where'd they go?
He's reaching for one of the beers on your tray.
Fuck off
Well,
with that!
they fell-
That's
they
not-
fell-
no, these aren't for you! And I'm not gonna let him drink any of the beers. Where'd the bugs go? Are they just scattered? They're gonna line?
We thought
very
you were
important.
bringing them for us. Sorry, but yeah,
No!
they fell over the side. I mean, he was just standing right here. I hadn't seen him before, and I guess he was. He
My
must
God,
have
I
been one
don't
of them.
care.
Right?
Where did the bugs go?
They're all over the place. You can still see them. There's one right there. There's one, and he's pointing. They're 50 feet apart. Yeah, flying around all over outside. You can tell that actually the blast of the wind from the from the circle above you, all of you, the kind of opening in the sky is pushing them around. Like it's making it difficult for them to fly, but it's obviously helping to disperse them as well.
And
It's causing some pressure, air
anything
pressure.
From
Yeah,
over
yeah.
I'm gonna stand on my tippy toes and look over the ramparts. Is
You want me
there
to hold
any
those for you? I
change?
can hold that tray for you.
No, you know what, that'd be kind. Go ahead, I'll hold that tray, and I'm gonna like pull myself up onto the thing, and I'm gonna look over, and I want to see if I see any difference in troop positions, or if I hear any horns, or anyone getting ready, or anything that seems like anything's changed status quo on the western front.
So nothing has changed as far. You don't see them like reacting. They're not like rushing over to go pick up bugs or anything. But I will tell you that what you do see is there are 3 very large amoras that are laying in the snow outside, and they weren't there. When you looked out. I think you personally had looked out yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, those are the Moors, are those giant flying.
Yeah, the
things
giant
that-
flying insectoid snakes. Yeah.
How far away are they?
They're behind the big ring of the Mortrolis, so
Like 500 feet.
yeah, probably about that. Yeah, yeah. But they weren't there yesterday when I think it was you checked yesterday, if I remember right.
That's a big old fat bummer. I don't even think it was. No, it was yesterday because we left right over. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna grab the tray and I'm gonna.
One of them's missing about an inch or so off the top. I got thirsty. What?
Let's see what 4th level spell I can cast.
This one's a spy too.
Spy! I'm gonna go ahead and use shape water, and I'm just gonna splash another inch of the beer up into his face.
Oh no, it's
As
cold.
I walk off, just gonna splash in his face.
That's fair. I earned it.
Yep.
I'll buy you one when the shift's over, halfling.
Yeah. Oh, I'm already getting the fuck out of there.
All right.
I mean, if
All
you
right.
don't tell Sarah, she'd probably take the less full one because she's so tiny. So as long as she doesn't know someone's already drank out of it, it should be good.
All right. Well, you make your way back there, though. What are you guys doing in the library?
Doing whatever we can to hide this thing before they all get back, and just kind of. I'm just gonna like stand around nonchalantly, like I'm just waiting for Ozzy to come back and talk to us.
Okay.
Just waiting on us.
Interference
Norok.
with any type of minor illusions or whatever.
What was the first part of that? Talk about?
Oh, I said I'll just run interference with any type of minor illusions and just help aid in the stealthing.
You wouldn't be able to put up a permanent one, and there's nobody in here except for potentially Ozzy returning. Like the central keep is almost always completely empty, except for the very top where the infirmary is. So I mean, there's people coming and going down the hallways, but not in the library, except for Ozzy. So generally, it's pretty safe in here.
If there's like 2 bookcases right next to each other, I'd just kind of ask Norok to like scoot him out a little bit and try to like scooch it behind there and then just shove him back a little.
Okay. All right. That'll be below passive G. It's not something you really need to roll for moving a bookcase full of books for an 800-pound monster. But you carefully as much as you can, anyways, place it behind the bookcase and then slide it back. Looking over the books there, you can see an Artemade. Anybody that's looking over the top of the books, but below the the shelf above that, it's visible. It's clear that there's something behind it. But unless you're in here and specifically staring behind it, and also like used to what the wall should look like, I guess nobody would probably notice it. You don't feel like, but otherwise it is visible.
Can I take? Shit, where do I have my inventory? I don't want to. I mean, I guess I haven't used it like ever. I guess I'll take my cloak of billowing and just kind of like lay it over it so it looks just like a. Try to put it.
You
up
can
against
cover some.
back
That
of the
frame,
book?
yeah, but that frame is big, and your halfling-sized cloak is not going to cover very much of it. Like it'll cover maybe like 1/4 of the visible.
Can I use?
scales.
Would my tent be big enough?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so can I
Artemis might
use
be mad
like
about
the
that.
back? It's we sleep. I haven't used. I think I've used my tent like once. So, and I'm super tiny. I'll just snuggle in with someone. I'm gonna use my tent to kind of like cover the back of the bookcase, so it looks like the back of the bookcase is lined with fabric, and not
Alright.
like we're hiding something back
Yeah,
there.
I mean it's leather anyways, but it would hide. It would be enough to obscure it for sure. So
Yeah,
Norok,
I
you have to
just
kind of
mean I'm
pull it
not
back
like
out again,
I'm
and
not draping it over the
okay,
thing. I'm
just
trying
dripping
to
it over
like
the bookcase if anything, over the
yeah,
back of the
so it's
bookcase.
like a backing for the bookcase.
Okay, all right. Norok, you have to
I'll
kind of pull
make
it
you a
back
new
out to do
tent
that.
anyway.
Gonna have to go hunt some more deer just to kill some animals just so that Sarah can hide the thing.
I
But
mean, it really doesn't have to be a big deer.
there are a couple of rabbits ought to do. Um,
Yeah.
but you do feel like after you've put it back, it is no longer visible. So it seems like it's decent enough. So, somebody was searching the place, they'd find it. But other than that, they probably wouldn't have any reason to look there.
Right.
So as you guys are doing that, Ozzy steps back in through the door. The commander doesn't want it here either, but I told him we don't have much other choice. So I guess now we have to figure out what to do with it, but that isn't really any of your problem, I suppose. What do you guys intend to do? I mean, I told you I would leave it up to you. You're not, intending to go, give it to the Legion, are you?
No,
I'm back with the beard. What
Yeah,
else?
so no.
we just didn't know if we needed to like destroy it or just let you guys decide what to do. I don't know what.
Yeah,
the
what's
hell do
what
you guys
what,
wanna
what would
do?
be wrong with destroying it? Why don't we just destroy it?
It's a significant bargaining chip, though. I mean, they thought we already had it. If now we do, and we can trade it to them, then maybe
Yeah,
we
but
can.
if we trade it to them, then they're gonna bring back second. That's bad.
Right?
It is, and it is my country, and yours. He looks at Nazim and yours as well. But at the same time, it's been a long time since it really resembled what I cared about in the first place. And if they bring Sek back, Sek will rule over them. But that's really why would that matter to the Empire?
Yeah, but is Sek gonna be okay with just ruling over them, or is he gonna want like everything? And by the way, there is a, Tegara out in the ocean somewhere that eventually someone is gonna have to do something
It's fine.
about.
He's friendly enough.
I mean, kind of. He
So,
was kind of a.
Artemis had warned me of this, but how certain are you of this? I mean,
Oh, like 100%. Like we straight up mimed where his people died and like showed him a timeline of where
He's
he
sad,
is now.
honestly. He's been lonely. I think it caught him by surprise, and he's just not. He's got to go. He's going through some things.
Yeah, like they just
like
kinda
20,000
brought him
years
back to
of
life.
history.
Yeah, like they
Oh, just a
regrew his
pig.
scales.
I mean, even the drawings we have of them are varied and untrustworthy. You actually saw one in
Yeah,
the
did
flesh?
Yeah, it had 12
Definitely.
legs. 2
Six.
heads and 12 legs.
No, one
No, it
had
did.
6
No,
legs.
you didn't see the one on its tail. It 12 heads. 2 heads and then like 12 legs.
He was really, really big.
Yeah, at
and
least
potentially dangerous.
700 feet long.
They were not a very populous species even when they were around. I mean, was this one important? Do you know who he was or is?
I didn't get a name. I wasn't quite sure how to convey that, but he seemed like he may have been one of the kings because he said something about shit. I forgot to write it down. Hang on, let me go back up.
I think if I made it out correctly, I believe it
The-
was Jeff.
No, he had
Name's
mentioned.
Jeff?
Jeff.
That's right.
With a G. It's spelled Geoff, but I think he pronounces it Jeff.
Some mountains, and that they were his east border. So I'm guessing the Shrehisha Mountains were his eastern border. So I'm guessing he was some kind of ruler.
I don't have a vast enough knowledge of
I don't
Vabian,
know.
old Vabi history to know for sure. Artemis, give
Apparently
me.
where we were was Kazura, which is or Kezura. Yeah, it's.
Wait,
I
why
do-
are we so sure? Why are we so sure that the army outside is not just going to attack as soon as they know that we have it? Like, aren't they just going to attack and take it by force? there's 3 more of those, sky-flying bug creatures out there in the snow that weren't there yesterday.
Yeah, your sentiment there is exactly what the commander had mentioned. That was his thoughts as well.
I'm gonna take out the history of the kings of Old Abbey.
Go ahead and give me. So what she was just saying there may have kind of triggered a memory there a little bit, Fox. So go ahead and give me another intelligence check. History, if you have it, proficiency is fine.
I don't have proficiency there.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't imagine, I mean, at this point, can you just get this castle the hell out of here? Let's just go. Like, why are we still here again?
Because if we don't, and the Vabians keep moving north, more civilians will die. We're preventing them from being able to move north.
So why would they keep moving north? Like, what reasoning? Because obviously, if they're after this thing and they think that you have this thing, like, and you move the castle back where it came from.
Well, we can move the castle wherever, but if we move it at all and we make no effort to stop their advance, then they'll continue their invasion into the Empire.
Well,
They'll take Pale and Kedril and the rest of the borderlands.
To then notice, like.
So just real quick here, I don't want to spend too long on this, but to give you guys a refresher, because it's been a while. Obviously, we've been playing this campaign for 2 years, but what's the word I'm looking for? The spark that set the war off here is the Empire was raising prices on the food that they would sell into Vabi. Vabi can't grow anything there; it's a desert, so they can't really grow enough to feed their people. Vabi is a very militarily. Their economy is based on their military, so they can't feed their people, and they need to buy food from elsewhere. For a very long time, they've been buying it directly from the Empire, and that's been a mutually beneficial relationship for them. The Empire stopped selling food into Vabi instead because they felt like Vabian aggression was going. Unfortunately, some mimic of real life events now. Even though this story, I started this shit 2 years ago, so you can't say it's plagiarism when I did it first. But as far as but unfortunately, very similar to the situation. Well, it's not food based, but specifically a difference in threat and economy between a militaristic economy and a very rich, initially food based, but now commodities economy in the Empire. Anyways. Because the Vabians can't feed their people, they evicted all of the non-Vabians out, which is what the Chain of Dogs was at the start of the campaign. And then now, because the Empire won't sell them food, they've gone north and started attacking all the kingdoms that the food is grown in, which is the area that you're in right now, and all those little places, Justin, that you had mentioned had Irish names. Those are farming communities. All that area is all farmland, and they're trying to take all that.
Left or anything. They're just hanging out, farming.
Well, I mean, they haven't yet, but the Vabians aren't that far north yet. The Vabians are stopped here because this is where the Crowford is. Now, they could technically, because right now this is all under a temporary ceasefire, essentially. Remember, it's been a week and a half or so at this point of this kind of ceasefire where they've been arguing, saying, just give us the scales and we'll leave. And you guys say, well, we don't have the scales. So they've been having these kind of regular summits, but the increase of parlay summits, but these increase of attacks and aggression where the Vabians have begun to, like they sealed off the secret tunnel, they started sending in spies, all these other things. These are clearly escalating back into a full-on hot war. Yeah, so that's the state of events here. And if the scales, were if they held their word, which clearly the commander doesn't believe they would, Pepperjack does not believe they would, Ozzy probably doesn't either, but if you were to give them the scales, they say they would, just leave.
I don't think that they're going to do that, because, I mean, here's the thing, maybe they will, but they're just going to leave so they can resurrect. Like, if Sek comes back, will Sek be controlling Vabi, or will Vabi be controlling Sek?
Sek was like the big main thing of Vabi, so I'm pretty sure he'd just retake fucking control.
Yeah, he's a demigod. He's like basically a very high level ascended.
From what we know about Sek, what are the chances that Sek's going to just, live peacefully in Vabi with Vabians, or are they just going to now have the power and strength to just overrun the Empire with, more fervor than ever?
I mean, I guess nobody knows, but I personally think he's just
Arteme knows.
Going.
Yeah, by that book. by reading that book, for sure, she knows there's no way that this would go peacefully. And on top of that, Arteme, that role isn't great either, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you that because they lived for so long, the Vabian kings, the Teguras specifically, because they would transplant their souls from one to the next and so on, you're not looking through a list of, 100 and 100 and 100 kings like you might for like Britain, for example, or Spain or something, because they lived for, 6,000 or 7,000 years before they
You're looking at a handful.
fail. Exactly, there aren't so many. And therefore, you're able to find specifically the king who ruled over the region between the chain to the east, which is where Morvok is, the Miotau town, and the area called Kazura in the west at their time. Now it's just called the Badlands. It's basically the kind of region between the Empire to the north and the Vavi to the south, and his name was Sobek. And based on context clues and piecing that all together, Sobek must have been the Tegura that you guys spoke with on the beach there.
Okay, so I'd let the others know that it's Sobek.
So, I don't like the idea of keeping it here so close to the enemy forces. I almost feel like, as terrible as it might be for some of these farming towns, we may just need to let them know to take shelter in the mountains or in the swamps, and to avoid this preceding army, we move the Crow Fort. Maybe let this army look through the rubble of the rubble that this is currently on. The fucking, what's the name of this town? Dunskathak. Let them go through Dunskathak looking for this thing on their own. We maybe move as far north, closer to the Empire as possible. Bring back all the people we have that are out right now in the wilderness and do a retreat for now. I mean, even if it's just temporary, maybe that will give us time to where we can get the Empire involved and
but
at least
the
save some lives.
The Empire isn't
outlined.
okay with
the
the keep being here. Can we even move the keep at this point?
You see him give he doesn't answer you, but the appearance on his face is clearly no.
Yeah.
So the circle mages that they brought in, remember, for them to do that, there was 8 of them total, 6 at any given time, and 2 that would rest, and then they would cycle in. And it took them 3 days, I think it was, to get the Crow Fort summoned. And they don't have them. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the Crowblinders are essentially outlawed right now. They're persona non grata in the Empire.
Okay with us.
Yeah.
The good news is they don't have digital cameras now, so
There's not a lot of surveillance going on.
as long as they're not going around calling themselves weird nicknames, we'll probably be all right. What's your name?
There's not a Facebook.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, not a Facebook record of every person's face.
We're kind of stuck here. I kind of agree, though, with the fact
Oh
that
shit, I didn't see Eivor was under you. Sorry, Sako. I don't know how he was still on this map. Sorry about that. Sako had moved his...
Yeah, I was wondering what that stick was coming out of me. I was like, well, not that exciting.
Eivor stayed behind, just stayed in mind, just even just poking at him.
I don't think that the scale should stay here necessarily, because I mean, we absolutely cannot give them the scales. Sec would be.
I could hold the scale.
Let's destroy it. Let's destroy it.
Problem is, can we destroy it? Like, is there anything?
When I took a
you know
quick
what? I'm
nibble,
gonna sit down and start casting Identify on this thing while they're having a conversation to see if it's magical, to see if it's just like a scale that we can just like toss in a volcano and destroy, or if it would be super fucking hard because it's a magical item.
I'll tell you that even like below your passive Arcana check will tell you that it's not magical. It doesn't mean it's not. It doesn't mean that it's destructible necessarily. You don't know that portion, but it does not radiate magic and energy at all.
Okay, so I mean, a volcano is an option we could try, but
it doesn't have to be a volcano. And I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna take the edge of it. I'm gonna start kind of
the most
making a little cut through the edge with my dagger. See if I can just cut through with my dagger.
Nope. You tried, and there's not even a dent. There's not even a scratch.
All right. Well, we can't cut through it.
It's the scales of essentially a demigod. I don't think just a knife is gonna do anything.
I'll go ahead and tell you guys too that you guys dinged up those the fangs of his fangs. Remember, the fangs you guys had before are from the same creature.
Yeah.
The fangs that were like mammoth tusks. Remember, they were the size of mammoth tusks.
Right.
So those fangs are from this same. This is his skin, and you guys had his teeth before. But
Yeah,
Masetsu
these are
stole
gonna
them
be-
from you when he tried to bite Norak's head off.
Yeah, these are gonna be really fucking hard to descale or get rid of. Descale. Jesus.
Destroy. They're gonna be very hard to destroy.
Yep.
Like how hard? Like
I have no idea how to destroy these, and I have a lot of spells that probably can destroy some shit, but
Even I'm not too worried even about trying to destroy it, as long as I agree. I don't think we should give it to the Fabians, but at the same time, this is an important poker chip for us to have. So I don't really want it here either, but I don't want it being found. So if you guys have a good idea, I mean, I've been here for weeks now. I forget what the outside even looks like, except for times when I kind of come to help you all.
Is
So-
there any way to make it super small so we can just put it in the bag of holding?
No way.
That
that's
way
gonna
it's
last.
with. Yeah, but if there's a way to make it small, like put it in something to keep it, contained and small, so we can put it in the bag of holding, so it's always with us in case for whatever reason we need to get it. We know where it is, and no one else can take it.
He says, I don't know this for certain, but at least based on other artifacts of this sort, they are not subject to the rules of magical control.
You know what's really far away? That island. And I'm gonna look at Fox. Or I'm gonna look at Artemis. Like the island that you were from. We could just go drop it off there. We could bury it under a bunch of explosive plants.
Gwynsair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of people there. Somebody could eventually find it.
Sounds
What
like
about-
eventually someone's problem.
Hey, what about if we make the trek back up to that fucking Mephuin temple where we killed the thing for Norak and just leave it down there, and no one's gonna fucking go up there because there's a gigantic ancient dragon.
I don't
No one's
want
Didn't
to
you
gonna
go
guys-
there.
where there's an ancient dragon.
Didn't you tell me, though,
You
that
can't
you
even get in
collapsed the
there. It's
temple?
collapsed,
Yeah.
yeah.
How are you going to get back in there?
We could
Do you
like
have-
bury it in a grave up there. No one's gonna go searching up in those graves.
So
with a
hold on.
dragon
You
around.
want to go back there, spend 9 days hiking up a mountain,
Well,
fighting-
not 9 days. I
fighting a
mean,
bunch of giants throwing rocks down cliffs.
Artemis has been up there. She could find a tree so much closer. We could just.
But I
camp
can't do
in.
that till tomorrow.
But that's fine. I mean, that's tomorrow. At least it's somewhere that no one would go. No one's gonna go search for sex scales by an ancient dragon.
I should have picked a different name. Every time I hear it, I can't help but hear sex now instead of S-E-K-H. It's so Sek, S-E-K-H, is an ancient Egyptian god, so that's where the name came from. But anyways,
Sex scales actually is something you pick up in the Pacific.
that sounds transmissible.
We could just bury it in a grave up there. I mean, there's all sorts of fucking shit up there. We could bury it in the ground.
I mean, I'm fine with that, but that dragon, I don't want to deal. I mean, how close are we talking? Is if we can get right up.
What were the closest trees to the temple? Were
There
any
was
like,
trees.
directly around?
No, not in the not at the temple. I
We're
guess is
gonna
what I'm
have to
saying.
go all the way across that frozen lake again. You know. the
Yeah,
one
it would
that's
be
usually
exactly.
right
Yeah,
next to where the dragon sleeps.
yeah.
I mean, we could
Maybe
throw it
basically
in the frozen lake. We could
The
just
part where he was flying over you guys, and you would kind of stealth your way across that area. It would be south of that still, so it would be a few hours of walking through the snow, trying to carry that thing too.
I mean, we could go to that tree, drop it off, and then we know where it is, and we can come back to it. Like, it doesn't have to be buried. We just maybe bury it in the snow.
That's actually not a bad idea.
'Cause even if the
Bury
dra-
it
then it-
right underneath the tree.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a
marked.
permanent fix, but it's a stopgap, you know?
Yeah,
we
'cause
could go
just
back
go
Easy to
directly
find.
back to that tree.
Yeah, and we can mark the tree. Not like a dog or anything, but like, you know.
Well, I mean,
Carve
Artemis
a little-
would know exactly what tree we went through, so.
Yeah. Artemis can't she has a natural
Can't forget
memory
that.
of trees she's used for that sort. So
All right.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, you
and
could
then
do it-
no one would look there for it.
I mean, at least not for a while. We would buy us some time. It wouldn't
Who's
be
gonna
here.
think that the scales of Sek are gonna be up in Yogg territory, in the mountains, in the snow, No one's gonna think that.
Not a bad idea. I don't particularly like it being just exposed to the elements of, like that, but it should be
Is there any
durable
kind of
enough
like
that as long as it's...
magical cloth that we can like wrap around it to keep it from rotting?
Who cares? Who cares? Why would you even care?
I mean, just in
you were-
case we need it. You
5
never
minutes
know.
ago, we were thinking about burning it or destroying it, and you're like, well, hold on, let's not
nope.
let it rust.
Okay, no,
Should
you're
we
right.
put some lemon juice around it so it doesn't turn brown like an avocado?
No, okay. Yeah, nope, you're right. We should just bury it under some snow.
I
Tree.
have a spell that may work. I'm not quite certain. It's intended for, preserving a corpse so that it doesn't decay. But I mean, this is kind of part of a corpse. I would think that at least maybe it might help. I don't know. I know that generally these kinds of relics don't adhere to the same rules, and maybe magic won't work on it at all. But
Kind of a Ronco dehydrator.
It can't hurt.
I mean, if we maybe wrap it in canvas and then I cast it on the canvas, I don't know. But either way, as long as it doesn't stay there for that long, I think it would probably be all right. Or maybe if you, Arteme, you said that you can't do that again today.
Quick.
It would be tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, it'd be tomorrow.
How old is this thing?
By all estimates, 22,000 years old.
And do we really think a week in the snow or like a month in the snow, that's when it's
No,
going to
that's-
expire?
I honestly, you're on the same page as the commander, wanting it out of here as soon as possible, which I understand his position as well, but I don't want it, one where it could be recovered, and I think you guys have solved that for that, so I'm not too worried there, but at least as far as it being, not too badly damaged, if it doesn't stay in the snow for a week or something of that sort, I think it would probably be all right. I mean, as you described it was underwater anyway, right?
Yeah, it seemed pretty airtight, though, the thing that it was in. But maybe this will give us enough time to go to the capital and maybe convince them that this is something they need to be involved in.
Yeah. Even if it's just sending over some winged riders with some javelins or something, or having another country send over some sort of weapons.
Well, they can't ignore what is happening here. Like, we need to convince them of that. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to you this way too, specifically because of what's happening in the real world makes a decent allegory. So you guys understand what NATO is, and that NATO trying to not be involved, specifically not directly attacking Russia in any way, because if they did, that would almost certainly lead to World War III. That's
Maybe.
almost the exact same situation that we're looking at here, that the Empire is trying to avoid. So this isn't spoilery because I subtly I alluded to this a little bit before, but I'm going to go ahead and just clear this up for you guys too. I alluded to this specifically when the Growblinders were being outlawed. The impression that the Pepperjack has given you is that was done on purpose, so that the Empire can say that the Crowblinders are not with us and yet are still here as a bulwark to keep Vabby from moving north. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that was done with the full intent of being, they're not ours and our hands are up, and NATO can say we're not doing that, while we're also putting a military force here that is preventing the Vabians from attacking the civilians in the Borderlands countries.
Which is all fine, but we're not gonna last forever in this keep. And
no, and yeah, exactly, and they're dwindling fast.
And that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, and it's escalating very rapidly now too. Like this little kind of temporary peace, they're kind of very rapidly reintroducing aggressions, and that they now have not just the spies that came in, but as Pogo just saw, the 3 Amora that are back out there. The last time there were 3 Amora out there is when the Amora and the undead giants attacked the Fomorians and almost killed Norok. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Right as the Crow Fort was being raised.
Dark.
Yeah, so that was right as the Crow Fort was being raised, and that was the last time the Amoras were out there, because they're huge. You can't feed them, out there for very long. That you don't bring them out for no reason.
Yeah, so we gotta do something. We gotta do something fast. We have to try to get the Empire involved.
I don't disagree. I do feel like something needs to happen. That ship needs to be investigated. I need to know what's happening there too, because that's not only a separate threat, but I think it could be potentially related.
Well, that was our next destination. I mean, none of us thought we'd actually find the scales, but now that we have, that was our next destination after Cadogan?
He looks at Nazim directly. What do you say this out loud? He says, "You have a feeling about it, don't you? Being Vabian like myself, there's something about that seems strange, right?"
I could pull a history check and just kind of see what I remember.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Something seems strange. I feel
Something
like every
strange
day I
in the
wake up
neighborhood.
and everything seems strange.
Pogo hasn't had a very
You're not complicating my
last couple
life
of months. Yeah, he's a
quite a
real fucked
bit.
up last couple of months. Going from traveling from inn to inn and sleeping with every waitress he could find to sleeping in the mud and the snow every day.
It's balance.
I mean, look at it this way: the rest of us got kidnapped, except for Nazim.
Pogo didn't. Pogo was right after that too.
At least he didn't get kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I'm just gonna ask you a question. Was like being kidnapped any better or worse than our average day over the last few weeks? I'm just gonna
trying to sell them
showing
as
off
slavers,
all my
though.
scars.
Yeah, the way we are now is so much better. At least I get to make my own decisions. I was gonna be a slave. That, just no. Sarah doesn't do slavery.
Nazim, nothing historically stands out to it, but you definitely have a weird kind of mental pull towards that ship. So definitely something seems odd with it, and you think that maybe that's what he's referring to. You don't know necessarily if it's because you're both Vabian, you're not sure, but you definitely had a something that was kind of drawing you towards that ship, which is actually why you saw the holes where the keyholes are in the first place, if you remember that.
Yeah, to our knowledge, we still got that poison stuff happening around that ship too, right?
Of course, you know, but it has been. Hang on, let me look at when that happened. When you guys
Because that was a long time ago.
Not that long. So it seems much longer because
It's
been a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been
like a week, maybe.
Let's see.
At least like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
No, like probably 10 days ish. Let me look. Because that was right after the Zenith Fray.
Yeah.
Which was in May. Let's see here.
It was the same day that we finished the Imcrom 2 fight.
Yep.
Arena.
Yeah, the
fight.
Zenith Fray. Yeah. That was 522. That was the first of Brandesk. It's been 10 days, 11 days.
Oh, 11 days. Okay.
Yeah. So
Thought it
not
was
super
a lot longer. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just seems like it was a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, it's you guys, literally, we don't do so far, anyways. We have not done any significant time skips here. You go to sleep and you wake up, and we cover every bit of that in between. So, except for the sleeping portion, even then sometimes. But anyways, yeah. So it hasn't been that long, but it has been there on the plains, and clearly, other people know about it. Part of the reason that Ozzy was kind of trying to push in that direction before is because anything of a significant size like that flying through the air and then crashing would have been visible to the Empire as well, which means that there
They're
would
on their
be
way.
people investigating. Yeah, so
They
you might
also
even
have all
expect
the
to see.
keys.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that he knows you guys have the keys because he gave the other ones, gave them back. So nobody's going to be able to get into it, but he also doesn't want other people, trying to take it or prevent you from being able to get into it and
We
investigate.
could swoop on it before anybody else, jump ahead of them. Or if they're
we
already
could
there,
go. Yeah,
I
we
can
could
get
go
us there
bring.
now.
we can mitigate whatever issues there right now.
Are there any trees around it?
I can do a circle and get us back to the circle at the arena.
Yeah. So there's no Fox. There are trees that are nearby, but they're really scrawny because it's like a savanna, like an African steppe kind of a region. Not cold or not hot like that, rather, but as far as the like a tundra, basically with really thin, scraggly trees. Nothing
can
big
I
enough for you
make
to walk through.
Yeah, can I make the trees like a bit bigger? So
When
we
you
could
get there.
travel-
Yeah,
Okay.
you can grow a brand new tree if you want to when you're there. You just have to get there first.
Okay.
But there
so
is a
we could get there
teleportation
with the
circle.
circle,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then I could do the tree thing to be able to.
To get back there, yeah, if you needed
Yeah.
to.
That would be
Yeah.
great, because if I can use the circle to get us places, and then you can just grow trees, eventually I can get rid of my teleportation circle spell and get something else.
Can make a network of travel.
Network
All of my
of
travel
trees.
stuff is pretty small, 200 to 500 feet jumps,
That's
so it's nothing
also-
significant.
A
And I
great
have to
Teleportation's
go
business.
to a
expensive.
circle.
Yeah,
That's a
circles are
fantastic
expensive too.
business that we could have later too.
You guys be a travel agency from now on?
Tree travel agency.
Natural One's travel agency.
Natural One's
Hey,
travel agency.
That's not a bad idea.
There was something I was going to say, now I forgot. I don't remember now.
We'll get you there when you're out on a limb. We'll get you there.
Well, I'm thinking we should go check it out. I mean, it's
I'm
been
gonna
11
be the
days.
branch
Hopefully the poison's
manager.
gone.
The branch manager for trees.
Mm-hmm.
Good joke.
I mean, we can go right now.
Hold on, real quick. So
It is still early. It's only
the Vabians,
7:30, 8 a.m.
the Vabians haven't been attacking because they thought you had that thing, right, Ozzy? They thought that was here, and for some reason, them thinking it was here made them not want to attack. Is that right?
That was, yes, that was
Is it
what they
because
had
they
said.
have-
They
do they
didn't
have
swarm over
some-
the walls for that reason, yes.
Do they have some thought in their heads that, like, oh, we better not attack because what if they destroy it? Or, like, why are they not attack? I don't understand. If they think it's here and clearly their numbers outnumber this, why aren't they attacking? Like, what do you or Pepperjack know about their motives to where they're like, well, they have it. They have the thing we want, and we're not going to do anything about it yet.
In
Let's keep
our
them in line.
parlays, you know, those that I've been allowed to attend, and the commander's generally pretty open with these as well, but in the parlays, they insist that we have it, and if they attack, they're afraid we'll destroy it.
Right. That's good. So,
And I
At
will
least-
say that now that presumably the creature that was on the walls that just saw us coming in here, they now know that we have it here.
yeah, but that's okay because now that maybe before they're like, fuck, they got us there, but now they have it, so now they really do have a position of some sort. Like they might know that we have it now, so that might be better, for you and Pepperjack in this situation. And I'm just asking this because I don't want to go away for a day and a half and come back to find you all dead, this thing gone, and now we have a whole bunch of other problems to deal with.
Oh, he's nodding, and he says, and that's exactly why I'm of the position that we need to keep this bargaining chip. Maybe not here necessarily, if we can get it out, carefully enough that they don't know, but at least us having it or them knowing that we have it is, I think, important.
So here's the question.
I feel better now about leaving this here temporarily.
Do we leave this here while we go check out this ship? Or do we try to, take this with us and hide it somewhere while we go check out this ship before we can get it up the mountain by the fucking
I mean,
dragon?
we could hide it in the sand.
It's not
Is
sand
that-
out there; it's grass, but yeah.
Oh,
But
we could-
all
I
the
mean,
same, you could bury it for sure. Yeah.
We could bury it. So I mean, it's not as good as the snow on a mountain. People may go to that area every once in a while.
I would feel better about it being in the dirt than in the snow. I mean, it is scales. It is a desert skin of a desert creature in the first place. Being buried under
Yeah,
the
but
dirt
if
is
it
less likely to be
fucking-
damaging.
Got disappeared for 1,000 more years under the snow. I don't want this thing coming
Alright.
back.
I'm not concerned with that. I know
So-
Miss Hardame would find it. I'm not worried about that portion of just the melting of snow eventually seeping into the wood and maybe damaging it otherwise.
So-
Under the
I
dirt
could
is probably
definitely
better
make
protected.
a tree where we leave it in the desert. Wherever we
Yeah.
put it, I can make a tree surrounding it.
Sure.
So if we use the circle to teleport to the arena, Arteme grows a tree, and then we just bury this thing right next to it.
At Dunbury.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then,
It'd be next to the circle, then I can get there if I needed to.
Exactly. Then whoever needs to come here can come here to get it. You'd know where it was.
She also can't make a tree until tomorrow. She can only do that once a day, right? Is there
Well,
some
Well, I
way-
can make the
only
tree, I just
travel.
can't travel through trees.
Oh, right.
I can make the
But I-
tree, I
That's
just can't
once per day or
travel through
whatever.
it.
But I can get us to the circle today.
Sure.
All right.
But I mean, we
I mean,
can do
this-
that. Are we going to rest for a bit first, or are we just going to go ahead and jump straight back to that flying UFO-looking unidentified?
I vote for a full rest if possible.
Yeah.
Well, you guys had a long rest 4 hours ago, so
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
we'll
yeah,
have
it
to
hasn't
just
been
woke
that
up.
long.
pull out
We
our
should
day.
just go.
Yeah, let's go. That way there, because we still have to go to the capital. and do
also-
the other things too.
I'll go ahead and tell you guys too that keep in mind that one for Nazim, almost all of your stuff comes back on a short rest anyways. And this conversation, if you guys wanted to just say that it probably didn't take a full hour, but we'll say that you guys, if you want to just continue to rest for the rest of the hour, then Nazim, you get all your stuff back. So if you guys want to do a short rest, then you could do that.
would
Kind
work
of part of
for
this
me,
conversation
too.
here.
It doesn't give me my spell slots back, but I was actually wondering.
You can use hit dice or whatever too if you want.
Yeah,
What's that?
I was wondering. Who has that nifty quiver with the magical arrows?
The snake
Me,
bolt?
it's mine.
All right. Do you want to? Yeah, that's it. The way you said that makes me think you probably don't want to part with it. It's fine. It's fine. No, I don't. It's okay.
Do
Have you
you
ever
know how
used
much
it?
of a pain it is to make arrows? This way here, I don't have to make them.
No, that's fine. You don't have to make them. And I knew you didn't use them a lot, and I've been getting better with my crossbow. And then I accidentally shoot something into the roof. Just
A fake accident.
I swear that almost never happens.
The question is, you have a crossbow and she has a bow. Does it make arrows or bolts?
I think it does.
It makes both. It can
yeah, I
make
think we do
both,
both.
and it has
Yeah.
the poison. But like that's why I lent it to.
Avar.
Yeah, I lent it to Avar, but yeah, I'll be definitely using it once I bring back the.
It
I
does
could-
require attunement though, Fox, and you don't have it
Yes.
attuned currently. So you have the cloak, the Ring of Iskill Mastery, and the Wood Sage's course attuned currently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to use it once I get rid of it. Once I drop off the Wood Sage's course.
Oh,
if
gotcha,
you want to
okay.
borrow it until then, but I want it back.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are intending on returning it anytime soon. Eventually, you're going to get some, elven assassins chasing you down trying to get it back. Maybe not
I mean,
quite that aggressive, but if you don't turn it
another
off
one
eventually,
of those things to do.
yeah, that's a future problem.
someday.
That's a problem for the natural twos to deal with,
Yeah.
not the natural ones.
Yeah,
I
they
forgot.
breathe,
Is
they have to
attunement
fight
a
it.
short rest? Just a short rest, right?
Oh yeah, to attune an item. Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and before we do this, while we're taking our short rest, I'm gonna tune the Pearl of Power, which I'm still borrowing from somebody.
From Sarah.
Yeah, and so that will be attuned.
Do we have 3 things to do then?
You have the Amulet of Expel, the Rod of Absorption, and the Displacer Boots.
So I do still have the amulet on. Okay.
And
Do me a
I think-
favor,
I still
Sarah.
have the amulet.
Sarah, make a flat intelligence check. Ben, did you want to, like anybody else, changing attunement items out?
Just the ability check?
Yeah.
Not for me.
Okay.
I think I'm missing on that too. We'll double check, but yeah.
Okay.
By the way,
Fine,
everyone's
yeah.
temporary hit points are gone, so everyone loses that 18.
Oh yeah.
So does our big
funny, I
giant
didn't-
friend.
Yeah.
have it never hit
He's out there
points,
swimming,
magic,
thinking.
fire.
He thinks you betrayed him.
Feels a little. Oh,
I didn't notice this before, Justin, but if you have temporary hit points, there's a little
adds it
blue
into
bar
the
that covers.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's cool. Yeah. I hadn't seen that before. That might be a
You
new
gotta
thing.
actually add it in the little temp bar underneath your hit points, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was neat.
All right, but go ahead and apply short rests, and you guys can use hit dice if you need to heal
I
up.
wasn't even hurt. I have 100% of my hit points.
Cool.
Question, do I need to reroll this to make it higher? Is 15 enough?
Here's the thing: you wouldn't know this was a passive check to see if you would remember something, and you didn't roll high enough to remember it. So it's not something you could really. Yeah, I would say.
Reroll, okay.
Yeah, not really. It's not something you could really. Shit. Go ahead and reroll if you want to use one of your things or whatever to reroll it. Go ahead.
Okay. I will try. Maybe. Hopefully. More than a 15. Oh! That's.
All right.
God damn.
Yep.
Alright.
Yeah, it was the thing is the thing that could have potentially triggered a memory there happened quite a while ago, and it's not. It would be important for you to remember, but you didn't. So, let's see. Go ahead and apply your short rest too, Sako, so that'll give you your spell slots back. So under your hit dice, you see where it says S rest. Click on that. There you go, and that'll give your spell slots back. All right. Then in that case, then if you guys are, I guess we can pick up here next time because we're at time anyways. But you guys aren't taking any further rest? You're just gonna spend the rest of that hour kind of relaxing, getting ready to go again, and then just running back through a tree or through the circle rather to get to Dunbury.
Yep, I'm gonna leave
Yes.
this here for right now and
Head back to the
hopefully
ship, right?
it doesn't get.
Yeah. So you guys
Yeah,
will
we're
be
heading back to the ship.
okay. Yeah, you'll be at Dunbury, which is about like an hour and a half or something like that, southwest or southeast rather of the ship. So I mean, you'll be within close walking distance to get to where the ship is, and then you can plant a tree there if you want to.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Then next week is the 19th. Everybody good for the 19th?
Yeah.